yeah. Yeah. Say, I love, eh. Day and break, everybody on the hustle. Some people know like peace, they want some trouble. Crime rates on the increase. The government can protect the people. Hold up, no justice for the poor. Yeah. Look the way we're living, we treating one another unfair. Look the way we living, we treating one another unfair. Look the way we living. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. Yeah. We have everything in abundance, but we die and rot and breed. We pray, asking the Lord for another Moses, cause all we have is pharaohs, yeah. In our suffering, it's what they're making business of, yeah.
And the people suffering, that's what they're making business of.
Richer and the poor.
The rich are getting richer and the poor people getting poorer.
Say, them bring development and better education. Our lands are fertile, no food on the land. Our children, we're pushing into bag. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair.
We're treating one another unfair. The drugs is taking over Liberia. People are dying from starvation. I'm telling you. We want to welcome all of you to the closing argument once more. We appreciate you for being a part of today's conversation. As you join us, do us a favor. Do due diligence, share the video, invite somebody, tell somebody else to come and be a part of the conversation.
Into slavery, but
a whole lot of things to talk about. The man Quincy B is on the mic.
We're fighting the war not with guns and bullets. The enemies I see are my brothers and my sisters.
The enemies that I see nowadays are my brothers and my sisters.
Don't judge
the issue of corruptions and other things are going through. The crews is coming in the building right now. I see the man St. Tomalin, George.
Who will come and take
already seated and ready to take us to the next level with a conversation. A lot of things to talk about, folks. You don't want to be absent from tonight's conversation.
Like the way we living, we treating one another.
You must do your part. You must share the video, invite somebody, tell somebody else. The closing argument is on.
Future, what's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future.
What's the hope for the future, Liberian? We say from change to rescue. Where are we going, folks? We want to welcome all of you to the closing argument as we get ourselves ready. The rest of the crew members are joining us. Lofa Julius coming to you live from the People's City of Raleigh, the state of North Carolina. We got the man St. Tomalin, George in the building. Kelabo Gunglo is also here, and everybody else is going to be joining us. We say thanks for being a part of today's conversation. Wherever you may be joining us from, we appreciate you. Thank you for being here. We will be broadcasting live on few radio stations in Liberia, but as of now, we are coming to you on the social media platform, YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for being here, and now I'll turn it over to the man, St. Tomalin, George.
Hey, Lofa, good to see you, man. I hope everything's okay with you. Glad people have been asking for you, all your fans, supporters, and all those who are your admirers, all been asking for you, and I'm glad to see you back. You sound lively, and I'm so happy that I hope everything's okay with you at your end. And also good to see African Math Juniors project, Kelabo Gonglo. The great Kelabo Gonglo. That guy eats mathematics. He knows a thing called maths. If you want to talk about math, you call him. He would teach you what a college or anything from high school to college there. But it's good to be back on the closing argument. As I said, a lot of things going on in the country. We need to talk about it. The president, he's in Dallas, Texas. I just got a message that he'll be meeting the Liberian community in Dallas. I just got a message from the president there. My own friend and brother. Yep, Akwe. You know him, Julius? You know him?
Akwe? No, not really. What's the last name? Akwe who?
Akwe gone.
No. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean? Is he just meeting with Liberians out there, or there is a
Each
specific?
time the leaders come on this side, they come to the country.
Uh-huh.
I think yeah, Manasali she used to do a lot. Yeah,
Mhm.
Nathaniel Akwe gone. Yes, the president of the Liberian community who engaged with his Excellency Joseph Newman Boyka Senior, President of the Republic of Liberia, at New Grace Arlington on Street in Arlington, Texas, on Thursday, tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. So yeah, they'll be meeting. The president will be engaging. He's in Dallas, for the African Summit meeting, and then afterwards, on Thursday, he'll be meeting the Liberian community in that state of Texas and so forth. So they want us
Okay.
to. So they're expecting him to be. I heard it'll be a huge turnout there for them. They are all preparing for this engagement. But I think that's the best thing to do when you president of a nation. You travel out of the country, especially in the diaspora. Engage Liberians. Let them interact with you. Have these town hall forum where they can ask you questions. You tell them what you're doing in the country. Especially a good time for him to talk with 100 days, and then they can engage him. They can ask him the tough questions, and they can make recommendations and so forth. That's how you do it. But so I don't know why some people don't do it. But I hope if I was advising the president, I would tell him it's good to do it though.
Now, would this be an open, invitation to every Liberian, or is it specific to partisans of the United Party, like it have been done
Okay,
in the
that
past?
was the problem I have with CDC. When they say CDC meeting with the president, that was wrong for me. That was
Right.
wrong.
That's my
Frown on
question,
it.
though.
I frown on it a lot. I said it shouldn't be. Madam Salif used to do it, but she didn't do a unity party. She would say Liberians. So it's always good to engage Liberians. You can't only make it specific for your partisans because you're not president for the party alone, president of
Right.
the country. So it's good to engage the entire country, the citizenry when in the diaspora, we travel, meet with them. Let them share with you their thoughts about what's happening, how they feel, what's going on. Let them share with you instead of you meeting only your partisans. Yeah, that's a good point you raise, Lofa.
Yeah, and I also heard that he's due to be in Atlanta, Georgia, as well, to meet with Liberians. The only thing here is why it is true that we encourage and celebrate this idea of the president coming out here to engage Liberian. I hope that it can be open to the public, like you rightfully said. The CDC did it where they had a closed door and they were encouraging their partisans to come and be a part of the conversation. I don't think that was fair because President Weah wasn't only the president for sedition. He was more of a president for all Liberian. And in this case, if President Boycott is coming, wherever he's going, I think it should be open up to every Liberian, not only those who supported him or those who are member of the Unity Party government, but I think it should be open up to everybody else. But I mean, let's bring in, Calibu and hear from.
We will definitely enjoy. Absolutely.
Well,
You got,
Lofa,
you got something playing in the back, Calibu.
oh yeah, now watching Real Madrid game. So, uh, I mean, so Lofa, I'm happy to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy everything went well with your daughter. I
Thank
mean,
you.
praying for her to recover fully and
Thank you.
get back on her feet. But that said, I don't know what Tom Nick got planned today, but I
Mhm.
just dropped in the chat room. I want to discuss the to focus tonight on the Ministry of Public Works.
Okay.
There's
Yes.
a fundamental issue with what the Minister of Public Works did. So
Okay.
Liberia has a corruption issue, so we need to delve into the Minister action. I hope Dominic George has got some papers from him because he said he had dossier of documents on the processes that you went through to give out $22 million contract. I hope Tomalin did. If you didn't do it, no problem. We'll rely on the PPCC Act and then the Public Financial Management Act laws to discuss his action.
Well, I mean, it's an open platform. You can come up with ideas, and we'll and if contribution, we can discuss it, make it part of the discussions.
Yeah.
Uh, I
So
know
my
that.
prayer is that Lofa will be able to get this from the website and then be on the screen.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think I was just reading through what you were just sharing, what you share in the WhatsApp group. So yeah, I do. I have access to bringing that and projecting it on the screen. So hopefully we
Yeah.
can make it available to everybody. Hopefully you can elaborate on what you're
Yeah,
presenting.
that's what I want to do because we had just short time when the minister was here. So
Right.
I didn't elaborate. I want to go line by line. At least just give me the 5 minutes. I go line by line and I show you where the minister erred and I can explain why I believe he's on the wrong side.
Okay. Yeah. I'm pretty sure once we get to that point, St.
So
Tomalin is going to give us the opportunity.
I'll take a short break from you guys. Let me just get something from my daughter. I'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Lofa, you've been out for a while, but maybe what's on your mind? You've been hearing out there? A lot's been happening. I know the president. He's in Dallas. He signed the budget. The
Right.
2024 national budget has been signed.
Right.
And there have been also issue at LDA, the Liberian Drug Enforcement Agency. Uh, I think what happened the other day. They just put on the rug, just rub. What happened with the guy involved? They just lied to go and it just put it on the rug. We haven't heard nothing about it. And so, like I told the DA folks, I say, you guys should not hold us responsible if if we hear things, we talk it, we reach out to you guys, and you guys you do want to come and publicly share it. We're not responsible to come and polish things for you guys.
Right.
So as far as we're concerned, the DA is on. They have a problem, and I know they have allocated money for that in the budget, but we want to see. Before I even start giving them praises, I must see really what's going on. And I know there still exists friction among the leadership for sure.
Mm.
Now what you see up there is not what you see is the reality. They're still having their own internal issues, which I know will continue as long as the leadership of that entity remains the same.
Right.
So that's what's going on there. But tell us, man, have you done any research on this meeting the president is here for, this conference? What's your thought about this conference?
Well, let me first of all say thanks to everybody who, especially for you guys for holding down the platform and for everyone else who have been concerned and reaching out. People were calling in asking, Lofa, we haven't seen you. And even some of you guys on here were with me and my family in prayer. You all know what the problem was. My daughter had a major surgery, so I needed to take some time off, spend some time with her. And as God could have it, she's rapidly recouping, and I'm grateful to God for all of your prayers. Those of you who knew about it, some of you who didn't know about it but kept me in your prayers. I want to be very grateful to all of you guys for everything. She's doing great, by the mercy of God. So I'm happy, and I'm just thankful to have been in a country where whatever the problem was caught on early, and they needed precaution, and did what they needed to do, and so that today I can also sit with my daughter. We can joke and laugh and play around like we did before her surgery last Wednesday, which was very scary for me. One of the most scariest moment of my life was the 4 hours that my daughter, well, 5 hours that my daughter spent in the surgery room. Trust me, Tomalin, it was not the easiest to experience, but thank God, I was able to, through prayers and everything else, we were able to get through it. Friends, family, everybody were reaching out. I'm just grateful that all of that went through, and here we are again. doing the people's job. Why I was going through all of that, one thing that kept going through my mind is my daughter is in a country where the system works. The system worked to where they can play their part to save lives and properties. I am just one person. What about my country, Liberia, where the people are vulnerable? Okay, they rely heavily on outside sources to protect them. Some of the things that you're talking about here, Tomalin, like the issue of drugs. Remember when President George Weah was in office, the issue of drugs was kush, right?
Yeah.
Now President Boyka is in office, it's zombie. And if you were to just do your own research and think what a zombie is, what you know what a zombie is. Now, this is not kush. We're talking about zombie. So are we upgrading the level of impact in our society? We are not seeing the urgency in the desire to fight this drug, what I will consider drug epidemic that we are gradually working our way through. Right now, we are taking it as though it's a joke, just like the issue of fire. And then we go to the president trip outside of Liberia, where my focus here is not his travel. I look at the return on investment. Every travel that we did with President Weah, we asked, how many people did you travel with? Why did you travel with these people? And what do we get in return? President Boykai, on the other hand, which I'm going to elaborate on later, just to give other people the chance to chime in, since this is more of an intro. President Boykai traveled with people whose names are not on the official list, but they are still receiving stipends and other things, other financial support from the taxes paid by Liberians. This tells you the level of deception, but we'll get deep into that as time goes by. But for now, I just want to start with that and say again, in closing, I want to thank all of you guys for keeping me in your prayer. For those of you who kept reaching out, checking on me daily, I said thank you guys for the support and the care. Giselle is coming on fine. She's doing good. Thank you all.
I'm happy to hear that. Very happy that your daughter went through the surgery and was successful. We all been through such a movement, especially all my kids so far was they came through C-section, and I was present for all of that, so I know what it's all about. And I got 4 daughters, and I'm telling you, I know what it is, and so I just want to say I keep you and your family in your thoughts and prayers, and I'm happy that all went well. And I pray she recovers very, very rapidly and get back on her feet. We're all impressed with you, and we knew that you were going to come through, and we are grateful for that.
Thank you.
The Honorable Sylvester K. Peewee, the former Assistant Minister of Foreign Affairs for the Republic of Liberia and the member of the Neo Progressive. He served in the We Are Led government, citizen government, and he resigned and came to the States for further studies, and decided to still be in touch with the party. But he's a man, an independent free thinker. He's not one of those blind party loyalists. He says it as it is. He will not be blind to anything, not because he's not on a party mandate. He's a man of his own thinking. And so, Peewee, what's up?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. My brother, I didn't reach out to you. I'm just hearing this scenario, but I've been off the show recent time. I haven't been following actually, but yeah, I'm just hearing this and
you're not in the chat room. You're not in that chat room.
No, I'm in the chat room, but unfortunately, the other form I was using was just also. I just started updated this one. That's how I just started listening. But I haven't really followed I haven't been actually following.
You left government before you upgrade your phone, or you got another position with this government?
I'm trying to. If our little balance in my chat saying, "Oh, I want to consultant," said, "No, I'm not. I'm a better on a serious note." But thank God, and that's the reason why our full ancestor go around to Halazé. She will be okay. Yeah, go around to Halazé in the particular. For that mercy from God, because our ancestor believe in the Almighty God. She's going to be very
Next week,
okay moving forward.
Aloma is
Yeah,
doing
basically
Huh?
speaking Loma.
Lama speaking to many, I'm very good at in doing it. Yes. But basically, it is very important, and to me, as I'm on record, I'm not really a card carrying citizen. I sympathize with and supported we are in the 2017 election. I'm not a citizen. Let me make this clear for the record. I'm very passionate about my support, and I stay. Now we headed for 2029. That's a different perspective. We're trying to do an analysis as to how we're going to think about the process. I'm even thinking about putting myself in the race to be president of the Republic of Liberia come
very
2029.
good.
So
Very
I
good.
cannot commit myself to yes. So,
Yeah,
but again, it is
you're not cry the fee again at all. When you cry the fee, then at the end of the day,
no. We wouldn't. We wouldn't. We wouldn't. We will try to coexist between beyond someone if the need. There's the possibility for that to happen. But Lofa said something very profound just now, and it's very important that we take note of that. And I myself started that is deception. That is bureaucratic deception to put people on the presidential entourage, and they're not on the list. Normally, from 1847, it is part of the executive law. It is also gazetted that the president is traveling with his entourage. That entourage should be named. Even if it is the cook, the steward to the president. That person name should be part of the dedication. And we need to look at the presidential delegations of public information thing, right? I saw the press secretary here. She's not on that list. There's 3 other persons alone that are no personally not on the list. Now, the only group of people that they will exclude or they will preclude from the list would be the security detail. They won't call the security detail on the most serious note because for some reason the president should be protected. So they won't name the security detail because that is obvious that people may target some of the security details. So they won't name the security detail. But all of the administrative member of the delegation would obviously be named. That's one of the process. I think I will ask the executive mansion through the office of the press secretary to come out and name herself and the rest of the delegations that travel with the president. It's very serious. That's a very critical point, my dear brother raised just now. That's bureaucratic deception. We should not be deceptive to the people of Liberia. A taxpayer money going to them. Put them in the plane to come here. Put them in the hotel. Even the food they eat, a taxpayer money going to them. So basically, it's important that we take note of that. Now, the other side of it, Tumani, I would think that we took a lot of time the last time on the public work ministry. The Minister of King, he was so articulate in giving the line. To take time today, I think it will be a waste of our time. There are a lot of other sectors that we can concentrate on. Listen to Mr. Gonglo, he just posted something that I was trying to go through and the rest of that. Now, if this is something of the interest of the country, we need to target that, focus on that basically, and see how we can move through the process. But to take the entire time today going through that, I think we can focus on another sector of the country and forge on. But yes, from the intro perspective, I'm open for us discussing issues that are very germane to the country interests and that will project the interest of our country. That is the line, projecting our country interests and making sure the country is peaceful. And it's good things happening for the country. We all cheer the country moving forward. If something wrong is coming up, we put we right checkpoint there and proffer some solution that we believe that can move the country forward. So I'm looking forward to having a wonderful discourse with the rest of the crew.
Yeah, I want to welcome Dr. Peabody. And what you say is true too. We have discussed a wide range of issues. And let me say this. Today I spoke to somebody in the government, a high place person, and I was surprised that they tell me that our show is being watched a lot. They watch our shows a lot and they monitor our show a lot. They praise us for the platform. They say we're doing a good job. We keep the platform alive. They praise us and that our platform is open. We do not sanction people. We do not censor anyone. Everybody can express their opinion freely without any fear or any pressure, which is good for us. But guys, quickly for Peabody coming, we should look at the president just completed his 100 days in office, which is very important for any new president. But people that was having discussion this morning, the cabinet ministers. How did it perform in the first 100 days? I mean, you can call the name of the cabinet ministers and find out how they perform. I mean, whether they were up to the task, or whether they perform below expectation and so forth. But maybe everybody have their own thoughts about it. But let's see what other guys will say. But Peabody, you can chime in, you can welcome, you can make your comment now since you just got on the platform.
Well, guys, good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Julius, good to see you. I'm glad your daughter's doing well. She was in our prayers and our thoughts and our best wishes as well. And thank God that she's doing well. But let me say that I'd just like to piggyback to what Sylvester said. I think the point raised by Calebo was quite an interesting point here. Because it's true that the minister came and he was part of the show, but there were some fact checks done, and I think it will be great to lay it out there so that folks will understand that what he said and stuff like that. Because I had some reservation myself on the minister when he came in. I think the minister was very strong in defending, but there were a lot of reservation I had myself in regards to some of the things he said. I had some concern even with regard to the PPCC. I had some concern and the money, the timing, and all of that happened. So I think it's important for us to talk about that as well. As initially I said that when President Barker took over, uh, with the exception of the promise that he made that came from himself, I think I usually wanted to see if they will. I wanted to give them at least 6 months to say if I criticize them. But what we saw in the first 90 days were major hullabaloo, major division. We saw the Supreme Court making decision in less than 24 hours. We saw the president coming back and firing people, and putting the same people back there in that position. I think the first. I'm not going to rate any minister at this time. I think the time and the performance. I think it's a little short, but I want to rate based on what the president himself said. But no car will be parked there and have been twisted in different political terms, different political ways. And folks say, well, political statement. Folks say, well, to meet up with the president agenda, so PPCC have to source contract as fast as they could and to get it out there. I think it is important. People say they're not hearing my voice. That's how I talk, bro. I'm not going to be yelling here. That's how I talk. But I think it is very, very important to take a look at that and see how those things play out. But I had some reservations, especially the minister of the PPCC awarding 9 contracts within the shortest period of time. Who are those people that were bidding process should take a long time? In less than 90 days, you have all the people in place, all the contractor to be awarded contract and all of that. I do have some strong reservations with that. But if I in the 90 days, I don't think I can rate anybody except for some of the missteps, guided steps that the government had in terms of the turning position, in terms of, pretty much. But I will end there and then we'll continue later.
Yeah, we welcome the chairman. Chairman Sanvee is on the platform. But guys, I would say, it's good to always to do the due diligence when you try to go and find what's going on in the government and so forth. Like I'll be honest with you, I'm one of those who have been critical of the Minister of State and the Chief of Staff to the President, Ambassador Grisby. But I found out that's the man who holding the government down, though. He holding the government steady. Yeah. I found out that had it not been for him, things would have gone helter skelter. Because that's why I see every time the president leaves the country, he's the acting president, he's the Minister of State, he's the acting president. So I've got to find out that, man, you don't believe everything you hear out there. You got to find out things for yourself. And
when you found out this today?
I mean, the last couple of days, I kind of found out most of these things, man. That he's been holding it down. People can say hold it down. He's been holding it down. Yes. Yeah. So it's always good to find out both sides of the story, and I think to his credit, he has played his part, and to keep the government afloat. And right now, as the president of the country, he's in charge. I think that, but again, with any new government, people they'll be having all this internal fight going on right now. Right now, I know for sure that some people in the Rescue Alliance, they're not happy with each other. Everybody trying to competing interests are involved, and not everybody's happy. Not honestly, they are not happy at all. You found out, I mean, people doing their own things, and everybody trying to show their power, their authority. For instance, the whole LTA stuff, I call it LTA fiasco. People just play into it, and they got to do with it. But again, once you're in power, there are things you can do. But there are more to it. I hope Toga can come tonight and tell us more about something about the LTA stuff he found out the other day. Hopefully you come and join us. But Chairman.
Well, thank you, Lofa. It's good to see you. My love to your daughter. I'm sure she's doing much better. That's why we see you here. So I just want to send our thoughts and our best wishes to you and the family as you guys go through, the recovery process. Liberia. I was just thinking the other day. I said I think I need to take a break from the show for a few months because Liberia's story can't finish. It can't finish. But look, we are where we are. This country of ours seems to be in a state of I don't know if it's neutral or reverse or drive. I have no idea. I see everybody's, like I said, Liberia is almost Liberia like an old timer game. Everybody mind their own wing. You mind your wing. Make sure nobody cross you on your wing when you come. You try to find a way, forgetting about how ultimately they can score a goal, right? The truth is the country is in a state of uncertainty. When you speak to people, the country is in a state of uncertainty, and not because the country wants to be in a state of uncertainty. It's because there's a lack of leadership at different levels in the country. There's a lack of leadership at different levels. From the executive, you have a president who, clearly, look, anybody can say what they want to say, but I think that this president, if you were grading him in his first 100 days, we're looking at a solid D. Just looking at everything that he has done, he has not even completed forming his government yet. I like to use our friend and brother in Senegal, who is way less younger than President Bokai, 44 years old, no government experience, nothing. He's never. This boy was just a tax collector, from what I understand. Him and Usman Sanko, in 48 hours of them being inaugurated, were able to put together a fully functional cabinet. They're doing what they have to do in their country. They're following the truth with it. It's not that they're not going to make mistakes, but you have a government where, the Institute of Asset Recovery Program, it falls flat on its face. They go after tenure people. The Supreme Court issues an opinion. They come back the next day, violate the Supreme Court opinion. The people go back to the Supreme Court to seek redress. The Supreme Court say, "Oh no, don't forget." But the thing is, then you have the national budget. We've been told that the national budget, there's serious manipulation going on in the national budget. People shifting budget lines here and there. Representatives are threatening that they're going to start to highlight it. It is a total. I can't understand where all of this experience that we were told is gone. I don't get it. Foreign policy, we it's almost like we in reverse when it comes to foreign policy. I saw a statement yesterday
that the president met with the president of Kosovo to talk about Liberia's seat at the United Nations Security Council. Well, Kosovo is not a member of the United Nations, so how is Kosovo going to head council? I don't understand. I can't, for God in heaven's sake, understand. Now, if this is what 44 years of government experience look like, listen, I'll take an inexperienced person any day. I'm sorry, but I will say this. I always said that a president, you would tell how a president will govern the country in his first 100 days. I don't know why everybody's trying to create this spin about, let's wait and see how things would turn out. And this is who President Joe Boakai is. This is the kind of leader he is, right? He kicks the can down the road. He blames everybody but himself. He takes no responsibility. He's not strong on decision making. And so this is what you're going to get for the next 6 years. This is what some of us saw, and we consistently say over and over that they say what Ellis Cummings used to say this: the best predictor of future performance is past performance. And so I don't know about you guys. I mean, we all have hope. We all want to see our country do well. But listen, I'm not holding my breath because I want to live to see my children and my grandchildren. I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm going to watch and see. But it's also key, and this is my last point on this, it's also key to state here that this is what Liberians chose. This is what they wanted. This is what they went out there for, campaigned for. They walk in, they can say poo-poo water for, in the rain for. This is what they wanted. This is what they've gotten. This is what they've realized. This is what they have accepted. And we'll just sit and watch. I kept saying it during the election. Whatever that result of that election was going to happen, it was not going to change anything in my life. I mean, it doesn't bother me anyway, apart from the fact that I'm a Liberian. I want to see my country do well. But I don't share all this optimism that people may have. I think at the end of the day, things are even going to get worse before it even gets better, if it will get better.
Well, let me welcome Toga Alexander Beldet. But, before I bring Toga, let me say this. I said in one of our chat rooms yesterday, we had opportunity 2005. We went with the UP. 2011, we went with the UP. 2017, we went with the CDC. 2023, we went with the UP. So, I mean, we should when we start complaining, we should blame ourselves, because for 18 years, you continue to try to sing to two parties. And then you had great candidates in the race to 2023. But again, everybody decided to go to their side. And at the end of the day, and the same thing will happen against a cycle. People will talk right now. Come watch what will happen though. 2027, you'll see people changing. And what gets to me is that you can't win election. You can't win, right? But you and somebody share similar ideals, similar ideology, or similar vision for the country. Say, okay, something, I think I can align with Lofa. But instead, I want to be president too. And when you go in the race, you call your rally, you can't even get a good 10% there.
Of course, spoilers.
Yes. And then when you all become 15-20% running, then when they say time for runoff, you start going for endorsement because it's a bad. And mind you, what happened on 2023? I foresee more people running for president 2029 because they will say, you see Appleton, the guy came from nowhere, the man are chairman of Nokabo. You see what happened? So, and then he has a group behind him too. Then you say, you see the person today, the person, you see the influence that they don't got, that Yombly got because they were on the alliance team and so forth. And that's what happened. And until we can get it, we get it right, we'll be the same old thing. 2029 will come again with a lot of parties running again. With people of 25 on the ballot.
Tomalin,
yes.
Tomalin, I beg you, can I interject on you before let it come in and go far? And I want to slightly disagree with you. Okay. And let me tell you why. I think we continue to give our people a pass. What if 50 people run for president? Consistently over the last election cycles that we've had in our new political dispensation, 80 to 90% of the voting population congregate and vote for these two political parties. It doesn't matter how many people are on the ballot, Tommy. If you look at the now, you can say, "Oh, the election result was not right or whatever." But let's look at the election result as face value, right? Let's look at what we have. 2005. In the end, a vast majority of the country decided that it was either going to be UP or CDC. 2011, the same thing happened. 2017, the same thing happened. This issue, Tommy, has to do with our people, not necessarily the people who put their hand up to say they want to run. Because at the end of the day, you, the people, will have to make that determination on what is good for you. Tommy, do you know how many people run for president in America? Many people don't know that.
I know, but
when you look at the presidential ballot in America, it's not one of the Democrat and the Republican.
But Ben, let me say this though. You guys are coming. I took our coming after me. Look, the issue is that our people, they are gullible. And people exploit them. I'll tell you the fact.
So then who to blame?
But Ben, because what happened, right? For instance, Ben, right now, you got thousands of people that follow you. Okay, the young people, if you turn and say, "Well, I'm going this way," they'll follow behind you. So and believe me, the people, because we kept our people, we keep our people in the state of being for so long. As a result, it's okay. Look, in Liberia, Ben, I want to register to vote. I tried to ask people who you voting for, and even when you want to talk, when you hearing, you know, Bwaka we are okay. You couldn't talk about come and say, "Oh, we know him, we know the person."
So that's what I'm asking you guys. Maybe the rest of the guys can chime in on this.
But we will have these platforms. We have the opportunity to speak to the people. People look at us. They look to us. But instead,
no. You see, I'm not going to take that responsibility. I'm not going to take that responsibility. You know, no. I will push back on it. I will not take that.
You're from you live in the country, Ben. You got to follow you.
Tomalin George.
People follow you.
Tomalin George. But people also said, you know what people also said to me? You know what people also said to me? And I know enlightened people who quote unquote, not people in the villages, enlightened people also said, wait your time, you're too young. George, we are not run for president, he's not run for vice president, so let's give it to Manning. What did people say in the last election? What did they say in the last election? Joe Biden ran for vice president. Right? That's what they said. All I'm saying here, guys, and the rest of the guys can come in. All I'm saying here is we have to take the mirror and look ourselves in. We have to look ourselves in the mirror too. This is not just about leadership. It's the same thing with the national legislature. We replace the whole bunch of people in the lower house. And we take the whole bunch of people in the lower house and replace them with a whole new bunch of people who come and do exactly and probably even worse than the same thing. They said leaders are a reflection of the people, Tommy. There's either two things are happening to Liberia here. Either we're not ready for democracy, either we're not ready for one man, one vote democracy, because guess what? There is something called the tyranny of the majority. And that is what we are suffering in Liberia. The tyranny of the majority. The majority have a say, have his way. The minority have his say. So when you talk about a small group of people who should educate people, are they listening to you? That's the question. Are they even listening to you? So maybe the rest of the guys.
You're coming.
Yes. So let me come in from the same point then. Greetings to all of you, Ben, Lofa, Dr. Peabody, and Tomalin. I'm happy to be back on the show with you all. And I'd just like to weigh in first of all. You see, like you have, many of you based in the States, for example, you have blue states and red states. We have to also understand here that most of our politics here is tribally driven.
Oh, yeah.
You can come with bulk of your expertise here. If you don't align yourself with a tribe, with a county, with a region, you will do everything here and you will not get results.
And you get frustrated.
Take, for example, let me drive in the Kumi factors, for example. Kumi comes from the southeast of the country. If Kumi had fully aligned with himself, with the people from the southeast, Kumi should be spending maybe at most a month or two more in Monrovia and the rest staying down in Maryland. The first thing you got at least you got local flight here now that run into the counties. Kumi by that time should have a hustling now in Maryland. and you move to Maryland and you sit down in Maryland. You put a radio station that propagates your message in Maryland. You say with the chiefs, the head, let them realize. I don't know if many of you follow the recent County Me, for example.
Yeah.
You saw that game between Mary. You saw that game between Lofa and River G. You saw the turnout. There was no space. It was because the people from River G, they're not as many as possible, but the people from the entire Southeast decided to fill the stadium because of River G. Lofa too has a number. So the Lofa number plus that regional bell, there was no space between 2 to 3 in the afternoon. The entire stadium was already crowded. The people are driving on travel lines.
True.
I got a friend of mine who told me, he said there were 3 stages you must drive your politics in Liberia. Trap. You should also drive it around sports. You should also drive it around religion. He told me 3. That's why you see a lot of people run into sports. Oh, the man own a team here. Hey, you know, the man is part of the FA. The team is making major impact. That team is driving a whole group of people. Then church, or whether Islamic grouping or Buddhist or whatever, religion plays a major part in our politics. What church or what religion the man aligns himself with, the people stand with him in thick and thin. That's how we do. You can bring all your sophistication here. If you don't align yourself with one of those 3, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. And that is the problem we have. Our politics is driven on those lines.
But you see,
we
right
have
now,
to begin changing the game.
See right now in Liberia right now, right? I mean, you guys, all of us on this platform, we witness it. I mean, the difference. The same thing that CDC were accused of doing that what happening right now in the UP government.
Thank you.
But
Thank you, Tomalin.
You had a public works minister on the show the other day, right? Bulk of the companies that the public works minister is currently using, are the same companies that the CDC use. Nothing different. Maybe only 1 or 2 different companies amongst these 9 companies in need, including the foreign ones. I told somebody a lot is not going to change. The country is practically modeled on one policy for generations. It's a problem.
My man is there. That's
what kind of country is not even thinking that 10, 20 years from now, we should be talking about how 50, 60, 70% of the population will be employed. They will get job to do. Every day you think that the way you develop the country, that maybe you create 1 lane road. We're not even thinking about what new companies will bring in.
$22 million just to maintain roads.
Exactly.
There was no discussion about
our basic
constructing
problem
roads
in this country today, that job creation. Nobody is thinking about that. Nobody is thinking about that. So today, the people who think they're working are the people who riding motorbikes. Now you want,
but then they need to put that census together and vote for the right person
that we're coming to have in the country. The motorbike riders come and take the space. In fact, you know what the guy said? The guy said, I listened to one of them the other day, one of their leaders. He said they're about to pack the bag. I think sometimes this week, they will pack their bags. They will take their CVs, they will put it under their arms, and they will walk to the president's office to ask the president to please get their job.
So Toga, let me chime in here with the issue of, the dynamics of Liberia politics. You made a couple salient points that I'm not going to ignore here, but this is where I want to kick back on that idea that our politics is heavily involved with tribalism, and I agree that it is involved with it heavily. But what are we doing as a generation of transformation? What are we doing to combat this idea that you must be a part of this tribe to bring transformation to Grand Bassa County? Can Lofa Julius come to Grand Bassa County and be innovative enough to transform the lives of the people without being from Grand Bassa County? You spoke of the red and blue state. You know what is different about the red and blue state? A man born in New York who may not be a Republican or Democrat can move somewhere else, grow up there, and be a part of that society, but he may not have been born there. Like, my kids today, when you ask them, some born in Wisconsin, some born in North Carolina. When you ask them where you're from, they say we are from Wisconsin. But my daughter says she wants to become a governor. So are they going to say because she wasn't born here? No, they're going to look at what can be provided. Okay, what can she do? This is the trajectory in which we want to put our country on. How can we do that? It is heavily upon our shoulder. I will ask you this question. What did George Weah do in the Southeast for which he was voted into office? What did President Boakai, the president today, what did he do in Lofa County? Nothing.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Ben.
Let me say something? And this is the mistake again. This is the mistake that a lot of us make. Boyka, Weah, Cummings, three different dynamics. Three. George Weah had to do nothing in the Southeast. He's a soccer star. Almost like George Weah planted his seed when he played soccer when he played soccer for Liberia. He planted his seed. When during the war, when he was doing, there may be arguments and counter arguments about whether it's enough for the Liberian people to have rewarded him with the presidency, which is an argument that you can have. But the reason I'm saying this is because you can't compare Weah and Cummings or Cummings and Boyka. First of all, Cummings, when he came into Liberian politics, was a stranger. He was a total stranger. We woke up one morning, right? The country woke up one morning and heard, here is an accomplished Liberian with a strong resume, who in any other country, in any other democracy, right, would have been one of the top two candidates. But like he said, like Toga said, the dynamics of our politics. The dynamics of politics. Toga also, maybe he didn't say this. There's also this thing in our politics of you got to wait your turn. You can't just come and jump ahead. Listen, is it right? No, I don't think it's right. But let me tell you what it is. It is entrenched within our politics that, listen, what was the argument in the CPP? The argument in the CPP was, how the hell Cummings can say he won't be president? He won't be the presidential candidate of the CPP. And Joe Boyka has been vice president of the country. Just for that sake, he needs to go to Boyka and say, oh man, let me be your vice president. That is the logic that our people have in the society. So you can't compare the two. When people say, I did see a couple of comments saying, what did Weah do in the South? Weah didn't have to do anything in the Southeast. He didn't have to. There are certain candidates, like Barack Obama in this country. If you look at Barack Obama's resume and Hillary Clinton's resume when they were running for the Democratic primaries, night and day. But Barack Obama was in a moment. The moment he found himself in, he took advantage of that moment. So the only thing to me, what I'm saying, and if we're having a conversation about what are Cummings, you have done stuff in Maryland and stuff like that, I think what Toga is saying, and I'm sure if you were to sit down and talk to Mr. Cummings today, if you ask him if I would do this thing all over the way I did it, he probably would say no. He probably would say no. He probably would find another route to be able to say, you know what, maybe I should have started coming from Maryland, doing things in Maryland. Listen, like Toga said, he could have had a farm there. He could have done different things. He could have spent more time there. He could have, but I think that the mindset of him coming in and saying, you know what, he came in trusting that the country will see the value in him and say, this is too good to let go. But he probably didn't realize that he was coming into a country that did not. I don't think that way. My last thing I would say is look at Tewon Gonglo. Look at during the campaign. Tewon Gonglo used to be driving in his car, on top of his car, with his broom. You see a handful of people waving to him. When you see a rally from Unity Party or from what was Joseph Boyka's message in the election? At least Joe we are running on his record. He was president, right? We're not talking about 2017. What did Joe Boyka say other than arrests? That you saw thousands and hundreds of thousands of people flocking behind him. It was simply based on the mindset that he's the only person who can defeat George Weah.
But Ben, there's another thing, Ben, that we might be. There's another thing quickly that we might also be forgetting about. You know, your name can actually resonate with the people when you serve, whether it's a lower position or whatever, but the fact that you serve it in government. Do you know what constraint George Weah to go and run in the Senate? George Weah wanted his name to also resonate with the people that he was playing some leadership role in the country. Besides the soccer pitch, he had no reason going to that Senate. There was a specific reason. Sometimes there are some people who the fact that they just play a lower role in government, everybody hears the name. And it's easy for it to resonate. So now when you just come from any other place and you just jump into a process, the people in here much about you, it can also be challenging. It can also be challenging. You think like you're talking about like most of the senators, right? Around 2029, you see most of the current senators who have existing years ahead of them. Many of them will be running for president or vice presidency. The reason is because the brand will have already circulated with the people, and people will be talking about them. So a lot of them will already. If you watch the Tier 1 Gonglo's campaign, Tier 1 Gonglo spent almost 50 to 60% of his campaign time in Nima. There was a reason why, because he comes from Nima, he wanted to actually circulate amongst the people. You have to do that. The intellectual class here knows coming like that. I mean, they will research you and all of that. The ordinary man doesn't actually care about researching you. The way you do amongst them is what matters.
So, Toga, let me ask you a quick question here. And I think all of us should take responsibility for this failed attitude or behavior of the state. The fact that you just mentioned the in quotation, I want to put this in quotation, the intellectual class. That means you should be inclined enough to understand what's good and what's bad. Okay? But those of us who are self-proclaimed intellectual, we allow our people who are not opportune to understand things beyond the reasonable doubts to fall prey to the deceptive politics. Will you and I accept responsibility for our failure, for the fact that we have not done due diligence to take on the matter of authority, to educate our people on the importance of good governance and why we should make better decision when it comes to electing people as compared to looking for people who simply want job to rescue themselves as compared to rescuing the nation? Will you accept that you and I are at fault for where we are today?
The thing is, many of us, you got to have to know the psyche of the people. Ben here knows that when he worked for Councillor Bromskin, for example, Councillor Bromskin spent bulk of his time with the Bassa people. Okay, he had to have a home there, sit there many times, interact with the people, his family legacy, all those things. You don't want to give them too many rooms to be checking on you and tracking you. So a place, you cannot do our politics in this country without local. In fact, they say politics is local. When I ran, I had to go sit down in my community, in the district I ran in. My community had to know that this son of ours is who we're selling. You don't have to do anything there. But the fact is, you got to live amongst the people. You have to interact with them. The intellectual class, like you and myself, we research people, we read about them. We don't have to allow them to tribe, to anything. But we have to read them. Right now, there's campaigning going on in Ghana, for example. I watched something the other day where one of the Kennedy, I think Bamoya also, the current vice president, he was going to a region where the former president, who is also running in the election, that's a strong base. And you know what happened? The people put a roadblock and say he might not even enter. He shouldn't even go campaign there because their minds are made up and they're going to vote for their son. Our politics is tribal. They put a roadblock and they say the man will not enter. Because that is the other man's region.
Yeah,
so run in a... Sorry?
No, go ahead. I want to come in.
So to run amongst our people, you got to align yourself with them. It's difficult for you to think it will just happen overnight. It doesn't work like that. So you can go ahead, other people.
Yeah, so I wanted to pick on a few points that Toga made here. That I don't totally agree with him. You know, in one hand, you are given the reason, the probable reason why you believe President Weah ran at the time to become a senator. On the other hand, you say some of the current senators who have years ahead of them in the Senate may likely enter the race in 2029 because they want that brand to be recognized. You know, if you compare the two statements, you know, Weah was already recognized throughout the country because he ran in 2005 on a national ballot that people saw him all over the country. In 2011, he ran again on a national ballot. If you add his football years to that, Weah was already a brand by itself, recognized in the country largely by both young and old people. But the whole thing about intellectual class, I don't agree with that understanding because I think what is in our domain in Liberia, I'll put intellectual to one side. I think generally, Liberian, whether intellectual or non-intellectual, I think they act on self-interest. So when it comes to election, there's nothing about this person is intellectual class. No, because some of the guys the probable reason they put for, if you take all of the candidates and put them here you put a profile here on the table and say, let's look at President Bouakar's profile, let's look at Cummings' profile, let's look at Gonglo's profile, that compare that with the challenges facing Liberia. Who do you think has the courage to confront those challenges? If you are really intellectual and you're not acting on self-interest, you will not choose the current president. So that's why I disagree with the idea of intellectual class. That's my argument. So,
yeah, Mr. Gonglo,
interest.
All right,
Mr. Gonglo, let me come in from right there. What you talking about reading someone's profile, analyzing it, know what they stand, what their capacity load. That's why I'm talking about intellectual class. That's what you and myself will look at. The ordinary man who is sitting down in a village thinks about this man being our son. He's from here. He's one of us. That's why I'm voting him. He's not looking at your CV at that point in time.
No.
That's where aligning yourself with your region comes into play or your county comes into play. That one not intellectual again. You and myself, we the one looking at CV. We the one admire somebody's CV. We can look at Cummings' CV and say, wow, he's one of the best we got around here. All right? That you and myself doing that thing. The man in the rural part is not doing that. Now, another thing you talk about the George Weah scenario. No, George Weah did not go to that Senate to popularize himself. No, he was already popular.
No, but I thought
he went to the Senate. No, that was not the reason. He went to the Senate because at the time his leadership capability was in question.
Mm-hmm.
The people wanted to see, we know you popular. We know the mayor can get voted for anywhere across the country. But does he have the capacity to serve and to serve us from a leadership charisma? That's why he went to the Senate to show that I can be in the Senate here and I can start working. In fact, most of George Weah times he was not even sitting in the Senate. He had to go to ECOWAS because he wanted to be talking to regional leaders, meeting regional people. Most of George Weah time in the Senate, he was at ECOWAS. So his issue at the time was about showing to the Liberian people that he had a charisma to serve them. That he was not just a guy coming from the football field. That's why he went to that Senate. The issue about the other people that intend to contest 2029, that's sitting in the Senate already, their issue at that point is not just to popularize itself. My point is, sometimes when you just come from the blue sky into Liberian politics, you can catch some difficulties because they don't know you. But let's say if you're a member of the House of Representatives, you're speaker. Let's say Fonati, for example. Fonati could not just come as an ordinary person to run for the presidency. He will catch tough time. The fact that he has passed through the legislature, every morning, every newspaper that comes out in the country, he picture on it. He's been branded across the country. Everybody talking about Fonati Kofa, right? So if he gets on the ballot, it's difficult to sell himself easily as compared to if you just ran from the blue sky one day and won't run for president. Those are the things I wanted to put across. That's why some people go to the legislature.
Let me come in with my thoughts.
You know,
So
you
who
talk
the
about
host tonight? Or
you
Peabody?
talk about you talk about Ghana. Ghana, I believe Ghana have made history when it comes to democracy in West Africa, or even in Africa. We have seen Ghana move from one level to another. And Ghanaian, one of the things that the Ghanaians have done for the people is to educate the people. So when these people come about and making decisions, they know very well, the performance of the government. You know, there are indicators. The Ghanaians know that this leader did not perform or who performed. But what we have done is to reduce our people to beggars. We have reduced our people to the level where they can't even make decisions on their own. You know, and for that reason, our people don't know what to vote for. They only vote based on instant gratification. When folks come around, give them money, give them food, then they jump all over the place and say that's the best person. That how senators and representatives have been elected all over the country. They go there 1 or 2 months or 3 months, 6 months before election, give them food, give them some money, bribe, steal, even haul people into the villages and register them and come back and vote for them. They have not been voting on the issues. They're not voting on what happened. If there were people were really voting on the issue, but we have reduced our people to that level. We fail to provide better education for them. We hardly have great schools around our country. So our people, when it comes to making decisions, they really don't know what to vote for. They only follow the crowd to get money and then go and vote. That's all.
So can I ask you a question?
I want you something. Go ahead, Prof. Coming. But let me say something though. You, Ben, I pick it back to what you were saying earlier. The so-called intellectuals, they are the ones who mislead our people.
Not necessarily.
I would say that they got the last election. Most of them, they most of them they misled. They have their own agenda. Have their own agenda. I mean, honestly, have their own agenda. At the end of the day, what happened? They will come. As soon as election over, I mean, I'm in Liberia, man. I saw what happened during the runoff. I saw what happened at night. People that you never thought would be one of the people homes to go negotiate to support. We saw them. Okay, I know we saw them. I said, but wait, this person what I thought. How are the ideas? Now I know that this is what they're gonna settle for. So I say again, not only our people, but the people will follow us. Our country, because our situation in our country today. We can compare our country with the developed countries, these highly educated countries. We can compare our country with these countries. So people know how to think with their own mindset. Nigga debate. We first refuse to do debate in our country. Debate is taboo in our country. Debate. Okay. Oh no, not force a debate.
But Tomalin,
let Prof weigh in small, Ben.
Oh, okay. Let him weigh
in small, please.
Yeah, let me weigh in a little bit, man. I've been listening to you guys off and on, but it's really interesting, you know. Look, and I think I've not heard Ben Sanvee say this so many times, Chief, all you guys not say it so many times, that politics in Liberia is really based on interest, right? Everybody is looking like, hey, what's in it for me, right? It's very few people who are saying, look, let's do this thing here because we want to try to change the dynamics of the country. Very few people will do that. Look, despite where you come from, intellectual, not intellectual, one thing I hear people always saying, that people don't vote on issues. My question is, what percentage of the people do not vote on issues? We don't know. What percentage of the people vote on issues? What percentage of the people vote on? The reason why I ask that question, if I'm going to Nimba or Lofa or one of the other counties, and I talk to the people, I run a little quick survey, I find out over in this county or in this village, the people don't know anything about what's going on. They just know that the son or the daughter coming from this county. What are they voting on? If I see a majority of the people who are voting on issues or non-issues, I know my strategy coming to that county would be, don't go talk about the issues. They don't want to hear it. You want to come in there with a son or daughter who can carry your message over to them. That's what you got to do. But if you don't know the percentage of people who will be willing to listen to you, you have no idea. You're flying blind. I say this because, look, I try to keep my profile kind of low, right? But I would say something here. When the late Councillor Bronsky was running, when he reached out to me, back then when robocalling was legal, I built a robo-dialing system for Councillor Bronsky. And one of the guys who right now sitting in the house, not going to mention his name, came to the States, brought me a disc with about 80,000 phone numbers on it. Put that thing there into the system, and we were propagating Councillor Bronskin's message from a software that we had over here across Liberia. Nice. But you see, that's not for everybody. You can do that to a few people. Not everybody in Liberia has cell phone at the time. You do that to a few people. What the point I'm trying to make is you have to understand the mindset of the people. It doesn't apply in all different counties. Every county has their own strategy. Like my man Toga was just talking about. Look at what happened with the football game with River G. If you go into the Southeast, you got to speak the Southeasterners' language. Don't go to the Southeast and start talking about things that's happening up in Nimba. There was something wrong with you. Again, politics in Liberia, sometimes it's based on issue, but we don't know what percentage. Sometimes it's based on tribalism. We don't know what percentage. Sometimes it's based on a family status, a family relationship. My point is, if we're going to change the system, you cannot change the system coming and you're talking all hard book and all that stuff. They're not going to elect you. Why? How do I know? It's never worked in the past. You guys talk about Cummings. Cummings extremely qualified, but his strategy didn't fit what's going on the ground. That's a lot of people thought that Cummings people were being sort of elite. You know, they had that kind of elitism about them, right? They try to be like elite, seem to be way above the people. They weren't kind of bringing themselves to a low level or talking to the people at the level. There's this book written by this guy called The 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader. You got to check that book out, because in there he talks about, look, sometimes when somebody is talking to you, you may know the answer, you may be smarter than them, but sometimes it's just easier for you to kind of lower your little, your level and try to talk to them so they can understand it. But if they're talking at this level and you're way up there talking above them, they will say, man, you got no need for me, So in Liberia, if we want to change the system to educate the people, we need a good leader to come in, but we're never going to get the good leader, because election is all popularity contest, right? It's all popularity contest. But you have to understand the strategy for each county. You go to River G, you speak River G language. What are they looking for? Our son and daughter. You go to Nimba. I don't care where you go. So regardless of what we do, everybody's looking for their own self-interest. But I think at some point, politicians will have to collect the data and build a strategy based on data, not just assumptions. Everybody, you tell me who has written any data, any survey, or anything about how people in Grand Cape Mount will vote. No one has that data. It's all based on assumptions.
So, Professor Larry,
so that's my approach. That's my approach.
I want to chime in on the based on this. If I hope I'm not jumping in here or crossing anybody, but based on what Professor Larry just said, I would like to play just a little clip from the last conversation that was held. And the reason why I'm asking to play this is because those in leadership who I want to go back to this government, by the way, the current government we have. I know we have been through the mindset of our people, how they vote. Okay, we have 5 or more years to now deal with the current government. I think I want to now start to focus on their failure, their success, and their expectations. So I want to go back to what what was his name? Giddens, Mr. Giddens said yesterday. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Right, when Professor Larry asked about the value added, quantity, quality. What are we getting in return? The return on investment. And he said he could not provide the numerical value. I think we should discuss this so our people can know. Sometimes we bring ourselves on this glamorous pedestal, presenting ourselves as the most educated and well-informed people with the experience, when in reality, we lack what it takes to be successful in government. When I listened to Professor Larry pose those questions, and Minister, he could not provide data. He could not provide data as to why they are investing in some of the road construction or maintenance. I was shocked. This is a man who came from an economics background, right? I thought that he would have been this guy with the idea of data. The number speaks for itself. This is why we are doing this. This is how we are going to get a return on our investment. I didn't see that. I didn't hear that. And I feel like I think we should emphasize on these things and point out to Liberians why it is important that people put in specific areas are not simply based on members of political institutions, but based on their competence or experience, and not just experience by word of mouth, but actual experience in what they have done. And that's just what I wanted to charm in here. If you guys give me the time, I would like to play that little. I think it's about what 3 or 4 minutes, probably not even that long. But when Professor Larry posed those questions to Minister Giddens, and he fell flat on his face, I felt embarrassed for the brother. Very embarrassed.
Why you cue that tape? Let me say something real quick, right? The reason why I'm always looking at employment, and I think I heard a couple of people talk about it, is when you have a large population with a lot of young people who are unemployed, that is a serious threat to national security. I don't care what country you look at in Africa, it's a serious threat to national security. Jonas Savimbi said it. He said, look, give me $10,000, I can march in any capital over here and take over the country. 2013, when Madame Sirleaf was traveling over in Europe, and they asked her what were some of the threats that she saw. Madame Sirleaf said, look, the number of young people unemployed in Liberia is a threat to our national security. That was over 10 years ago. She's made that statement. So when we start asking about employment numbers, it is so crucial. But I see you have it queued up. So let me just swing it back to you.
All right. Thank you. So let me play this.
Great if you don't have it. We may just move right on. Great presentation you've done so far. Quick question for you. Based on the 31 million that you have in the budget, or the 20-something million that's going to be spent in these projects, can you tell us how many jobs you expect to create, considering you said it's going to impact pretty much most of the major counties? How many jobs you expect to create as a result of these projects?
So I can say the figure up front, but if you have a contract and within this budget year, we spend around 10 million of what was contracted. The contractors will work in these corridors. They, of course, will buy supplies from local companies that will be used for them to continue to do the work they're doing. I won't be able to say specifically how much job will be created. What I would say, this amount is going to be allocated and disbursed to the contractors. And I'm sure a lot of that will be spent there because they need materials to do the work.
So is there a feasibility study done to know the impact of these projects?
Well, the only thing we do, we don't do feasibility studies for business work. We do feasibility studies for a full asphalt pavement because it's a major investment being done. This is just a road maintenance of gravel road. We do cost estimate for what the maintenance will cost. But we know that at the end of the day, if we disburse money to the contractor, it could fit on that into the different communities and where they're working. But we do feasibility studies for maintenance work, especially gravel road.
The reason I'm asking is to make sure that we don't have a white elephant project, right? A construction project that says it's going to produce, it's going to do this, putting money into a road project or to a maintenance project that's not going to produce anything of value to the people. So we want to put money into stuff that will create jobs, right? Because I think job creation in the rural parts of Liberia is one of the most important things. So we don't have the numbers in terms of how many jobs it's going to create. We don't have the numbers in terms of the economic impact of the money we're going to put into this. So we could end up just putting money into a project that's going to have absolutely no value to the people whatsoever. Is that what you're saying?
No.
All right, guys, I'm going to stop at that point, and hopefully people can charm me on here. I'm trying to figure out what is his thought process going into this entire thing about, road construction. Is it just because you want to counter what President Weah did, or is it simply because you believe that it would impact the economy positively, create jobs, and give opportunity to people? I'll stop at that point, guys.
So, if I can come in there, I spoke to one or two engineers, and when we were on the show, I raised the issue comparing the kilometers of road done by the CDC government as compared to what he was talking about. And he said, I think basically he hadn't come on the show to make such comparison between past administration and this administration. But actually, what he's trying to do is to get the public to think that he's making significant impact in a short period of time compared to what the past administration did. So it's the same thing. And somebody was telling me it's not even possible to do 700 kilometers of road even in 90 days or 100 days. It's not even possible. Now, you see, the reason there's not a lot of pressure currently on the Unity Party government is because people want to see the government conclude on all of these issues they talk about. That is like war crimes code, the issue of corruption, how to fight corruption, and all those issues that border on all these things. Very soon, the public gets tired with all this chicanery, and then the issue of job now will be a pressure on the government. So where the prof came from, asking those questions as to, oh man, if you're talking about you gave 9 companies contracts to do road works across the country, and you cannot point out how many jobs will be created, and you think the only thing Liberians need now that for road to be from here to Grand there, you don't care about the job. So what are those companies will even just hire only 5 people? That's okay. Job for the people seem not to matter yet. Now, the last time you had, I think the CEO or president of Metal Steel even in the country, or the owner, last time Metal was in the country. The last agreement under the CDC for Metal was talking around 800 million. Metal is trying to push that money to like $1 billion. Metal told the legislature at the time they were talking about between 5,000 to 7,000 new jobs to be created. No one is even checkmating the company. Besides just calling them here to make the news that, look, we're coming to increase our investment to $1 billion in the country. Yeah, good for you to say that. But the last time you told us you are going to create around 5,000 to 7,000 new jobs, how many of those jobs have you created? What is data? What is statistics? We don't have it. And the real problem we get in the country is job creation. You can fix the roads. You can tap people in. You can get the asset recovery to recover all the money. Yeah, all of those are good things. But at the end of the day, Liberian people need to go home with food on their table. They need to go to work. Nobody is thinking about that. No government is creating that. That's why there's so much pressure on the government. As soon as government comes to power, everybody running to take government job. The private sector is not open. Jobs are not. Too many professionals are sitting home doing nothing. You got to either bootleg in the country. You got to either go to some ministry and HSA to go beg somebody. You got to either be singing praises to some government official if you want to get a job in the country. And a lot of things are linked to government. Even the private sector seems to be too much controlled by the government. You are critic of government, you not even get job easily in the private sector. This is wrong.
That's true.
Yeah, but
and these are the situations that we have to change.
I agree with you. At the same time, too, you see the problem again. I'll come back again. You had elections held. Oh, that's why I hear people saying, "Oh, when they send me this video, oh, and President Will remember still. I mean, I don't know to watch it because the thing is that you had election today again. The people will do the same. They will vote the same way they voted. They voted. 18 years. You been voting the same way. Okay, you have a lot of options. Okay, money back. Gonglo comments, they visited all the slums. They kept being in the slums. But yet instead they said that they were calling the poor elite. They are elitists. Okay? Yeah. People went all through the slum. But then yet and still. So that's the problem we're facing. I repeat, elections held tomorrow, today. People don't let them fool you. But they will say, oh yeah, look, until the people can, until we the leaders or the leaders of our country, those who got platform, those who have opportunity to speak to the people in this manner, until we can change our mindset too, the people continue to be gullible and vulnerable to people to fool them. And that's why we find ourselves in a thing for where we are today as a country. Nothing will change easily.
All right. So here will be my comment on the short clip that Lofa played. You know, I was on the show, I listened to the minister, I asked him some questions. And I think during the show, I hope the moderator for tonight will give me a chance to expand a little bit on the PPCC law, the act that the minister used to give out $22 million contract. When I listened to the minister's response to Professor Larry's question, there were a couple of thoughts that ran in my mind because I worked before as Assistant Minister for Research and Statistics. So I don't want to say whether when it comes to Liberia or whatever, but I think I have good knowledge on labor market information. I didn't just work there, but I mean I did training in Turin, Italy, which is the training center for the International Labour Organization. I was trained many times on how to analyze, how to gather even child labor, trafficking, and all these things. There are different methodologies used statistically to collect this data, and how to also to interpret, how to even how to reach population like the trafficking population as well. So I have good knowledge on labor market data and how to interpret. So what the minister did is just like how he used the PPCC law. He just went out and gave contract. There was no consideration on whether this is going to be linked to job creation, what will be the impact. They never did any of that. So even I'm now an engineer, and luckily the minister himself is now an engineer. To say when you're doing maintenance where you don't do feasibility, the first place is the purpose of doing feasibility is to have fair idea on how much it will cost. But this guy here throw money out there and say, okay, from here to Bapolo, okay, 5 million, we'll give you 5 million. And then, okay, look, this other company has capacity for 5 million. Look, what the minister did, and I still argue, he engaged in an act of corruption. And we can look in the definition of corruption, and I intend to expand further on this using the PPCC Act. I'm using this platform. What I see on this platform as a panelist is Calabo Gonglo's view. All of us come here from different political persuasion. Is not closing argument or view. This is my view. This is my opinion on the behavior, on the conduct of the Minister of Public Works. And I intend to expand further tonight on this. I've dropped in law, and I would like, if you guys permit me, for Julius, maybe after this brief comment, to post the section that the minister used, that he talked about single souls. In the law is souls. That single soul idea, let beam it here. Let's all of us read it line by line, the condition under which you can use single souls. Let's read and digest. We are all educated. The minister engaged in an act that was very corrupt on his part.
Guys, I mean that's it. Tomalin, Dr. Peabody, you guys are in here, right?
Professor Kennedy, you guys, I mean,
Yeah. But yes, my concern. I may be wrong, but I would just appalled by with less than 90 days, you gave up 9 contracts, and you said PPCC approved all of that.
Yeah,
I was concerned for both the PPCC and then a tour guy just came and said almost all the people that the contracts were given to were the same people that Judge Biya gave contract. The minister could not tell us. He said they sent 2 people to court. When I asked him, who are those people that you be recommending to be persecuted, he just flipped around and he did not even name the contractor. But if those contractors, you said that a lot of things got missing. Some of the equipment got missing. Some of them did not do the work. You went back to the Ralphie Highway. You said the contract in there or the job in there, and then the people did not even complete the job, and then you renew contract with them again and say they're going to go for another 2 more years. I may be wrong in my limited mind, but I mean, so what change you bringing? I mean, less than 90 days, you award $22 million contract. They're the same people who stole the equipment, who could not complete the job.
Yes.
In the time frame.
But
he frowned on many of these companies. You remember he talking about some of the roads having potholes and all of that at the moment, but he gave contract to those same people. 9 of them. You gave them the same contract.
My thing,
but don't forget now. Don't forget now.
Even with
every contract that the government of Liberia signed, is attested by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General. And the last time I checked, we have one of the best justice ministers in the country. So the question should be asked. I mean, how?
But that doesn't mean that the contract is right, Tomalin.
No, but I'm going to say we should be asking the question. We should reach out to the people, the PBC boss, the justice minister, say, but why? We shouldn't just be on one person. Let's go to everybody that was involved. Who have a name on that document?
Yeah, Tomalin. There are some of these contracts. There are some of these contracts that people just do due diligence. It's almost like 2-3 people should be signatories to this thing before you hear your decks. You feel due diligence already done to the document, it will just pass. And the way I think somebody raised that issue on the show, I think either Mr. Gonglo or so, somebody was talking about, take for example, the PPCC. Now, the PPCC is a 10-year portfolio.
Yes,
people are technically being threatened. The man has a 10-year job. You go there with a sole sourcing process and you want no objection immediately for him. What do you think he would do? If he doesn't do it, the next morning you recommend a need for the president to fire him. He gets a threat. But technically, I don't think the PPCC will do no objection for 9 companies. And then that's one of the reasons why he could not name all those 9 companies to us. I was even asking about some of the newest ones. Because take, for example, before you even award a contract, there must be history about some of these companies and what they've done. You can't bring a 1-month-old company and you give them 2 years contract. No history of work done. Because it's possible you say 6 Liberian companies, 3 foreign companies, or owned by foreigners, whatever. Now, out of those 6 Liberian companies, what were the new ones? When were they established? What history do they have? Where have they worked before? How can we verify that? It's possible you just go, people are creating their own companies nowadays. We had that situation in Basel. I mean, where people were just creating their own companies because they sit over the project management committee of the county. And they ran their own stuff. You have the same situation with the Liberia Agency for, I think, Community Empowerment Lace. They had a project where I think it just came again under this government where they talk about legislative projects. Most of these legislative projects should go on a list. But what will happen normally is most of the lawmakers wanted to do the projects themselves. So they created their own companies.
They actually do it themselves. It's on a list, but they tell you
yes.
to come down one.
And a list supposed to be doing those projects, but most of the lawmakers take the project and say, the lawmaker will say, look, I want to build a school, I want to build a clinic, I want to build a market. So Liz, this is the company that operating in my county. You must ensure that that company does my work. How am I in the budget? Oh, 100,000. Please get 100,000 to the people to go do my work. At the end of the day, it's practically that lawmaker's own company that's going to do that job.
Guys, let me ask a couple of questions to engage you guys. Maybe you can educate me on something. Maybe I'm missing something here. Can you guys name or tell me a time when we saw people violate the PPCC and they were held accountable?
No. I would say no.
Yeah. So,
there's a context here. If you read the PPCC Act is not a punitive process as such. When you violate the Act, the general principle, it depends on the kind of violation. So, for example, what the minister did, I will focus on the minister. If GSC were to go audit the process, they would say, well, we don't agree with the reason they used to give this, right? So that's a violation. But the general principle is, he gave a $22 million contract. The actual work is being done for the public, for the government of Liberia, right? The evidence is there. The work was done. So because all of corruption is behind the scene between 2 persons, right? So nobody was with the, but all it was okay. Oh, this person is in violation of the PPCC law. You know, the only instances where you can be maybe prosecuted is like if you short land procurement, like you show that you did a procurement, but then the goods never arrive, the government never receive it. You may be diverted to your personal business or that, those kind of instances. But in this case,
Mr. Congo, let me just, I see where you're going, but let me just kind of focus you on what I'm asking, right? because you accused the minister of corruption, right? I mean, alleged corruption, but you're saying, and let me I want to focus on that for a second.
Yes.
If it's a corrupt act, that means the justice minister, will have to step in at some point, do some investigation, and then take action. The reason I'm asking is people will only do things if they know there's not going to be any consequences, right? It's just human nature. We'll always do things that will always be in our own interest, and we know there's no consequences. So I'm asking, has there ever been a situation where someone did something similar and there was a consequence? Because then we need to take the same approach in terms of how that consequence took place to follow it. Because if there are no consequence that's going to happen, I mean, wouldn't you agree that we're just kind of wasting our time because nothing's going to change?
Where there should be consequence in some instances, or I think it depends on the nature of it. But Larry, I also wanted to just clarify on this. The minister, and I believe Toga or someone made reference to, in fact, it was Tomalin George, made reference to the fact that the Minister of Justice is a signatory to the contract. I can show you contracts, instances in the past that the Minister of Justice and the sector ministry were all signatory. The president of Liberia, the vice president, then President Joseph Boakai, they all signed, right? The entire legislature signed. I mean, the heads of the legislature, the clerk, the senate, they all signed. And it turned out that these contracts, the concessions, did not meet a minimum, according to the audit. It did not meet the minimum requirement of the law. Yet, the lawmakers ratified. And the Minister of Justice, the Attorney General for Liberia, the Chief Law Advocate, signed that. And international partners audited the process, say it didn't even meet the minimum requirement of our law. So you see, so the Minister of Justice signing a contract does not validate it that the process was correct. No. Because that,
okay. No. So I think I get what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that we know there's a violation in here. We know that all the parties that are signatory to this contract, whether they made mistake intentionally or unintentionally, we know all of that. We know nothing is going to change, but we're saying this because we just want to let the public know that this is what happened.
This is meant for the public. This is
that's it. So this is just to inform the public of what's taking place, because we agree that nothing's going to change, right?
Yes.
We want the public
and let Mr.
Congo
is saying we're talking about 66 who got the agreement.
They
were like 66.
Not new battle.
Yeah, so I just wanted the people that listening, that following, to understand this is to educate you.
But
what is going
on. Hold on 1 second. Toga, hold on 1 second. Let him land so that way the audience can get his view on here. Go ahead, Professor Larry. Close out on your statement.
Let me just close up real quick. I wanted to be very clear to the people that look, the advocacy or what you're seeing happening right now is to educate you that, look, this stuff has happened in the past. Nothing changed. It's currently taking place right now. And we don't expect anything to change, but just be aware, right? Because some of the same people you see here that's taking these actions, they have done it in the past. They were part of the same group that did it in the past. So this is to educate you in terms of, hey, there's a road contract over here. Why are you not getting jobs? Well, because we see what happened with this contract. It wasn't meant to create jobs for you. We don't even know if the people that are going to be hired will even be Liberians. They may come from Guinea. They may come from Ghana. They may come from Sierra Leone. We don't even know because we don't have that data. We just know that contracts were signed to put up 700 or something kilometers of road, which is about 580 something miles or something like that. And we don't see anything that will be productive of it because feasibility study wasn't done. They said feasibility study is not done for maintenance. This is just to educate you in terms of what is happening. It will be up to you to take it to the ballot box if you wanted to make that change. So I appreciate what Mr. Congo is saying. Yeah, I would just let him finish and make his point, because he brought this. He's been raising this issue constantly, and I think it's good education for everybody, so we can see how these things have been working. Why you are poor and when you are poor is because the system is fixed in such a way that it just benefit a few people. It not benefit everybody. Mr. Congo, back to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Lara. But so in the last discussion, if you notice, I pinned the minister on East International. There is a contract that I dropped in the chat room, Lara. I don't know if you had the time to look at that. If you look at the heading of that contract, they mention few places They talk about clay. Then they talk about another one of those settlements. But then they sell 51 kilometer in local roads in Monrovia and its environment. They didn't specify. I happened to be privy to that discussion at PBCC at the time. And PBCC raised the question with this very minister boss, okay, that why you specify clay in other places, but when it came to Monrovia, he said 51 kilometer local roads in Monrovia and its environment. Why you can't specify? They say, no time. Because this contract was signed September 7, 2017, just a few months to the election, Larry. So you can see the motive why they were hurrying to get that done. Because there was no guarantee whether they will stay on or they will go. And eventually they lost. So that was the goal. Let's sign this contract, whatever it takes, behind the scene, let's get it out. But they did a poor job. So the new government came and said, okay, but the 51 kilometer here, they didn't specify the road. So we can get the company will say, you're going to face RIA road. That's what we want. Because the previous government did not specify it. That's why the minister was complaining at that time that, the people changed the contract, we say they were building Richard Road or pavement and what have you, but the people switched around because you didn't specify. You left it open. You're saying Monrovia and its environment. And the guys came and defined Monrovia and its environment, 51 kilometers as well, Ravi Highway. And so the company will do it. So, if you guys give me the time, I will ask Lofa Julius to be in that section. Let's all of us read it together, Larry, because you've been in this country for long. Let's read that section of the law so we can all look at it, whether the minister or the Minister of Justice or the PBCC acted correctly. The whole thing that the minister say, oh yeah, you can go ahead, Julius.
Quickly, why I'm trying to kind of put that out here. I know it's a lengthy document, and I'm trying to have it projected so we can read a specific portion of it to discuss that area where you are focusing on due to time constraints. While we are doing that, I also want us to pivot a little bit to some of the major issues currently in Liberia, especially the recent issue of drugs abuse. I know during President Weah's tenure, we were faced with the issue of Kush. Today, we are hearing of zombie. I don't know how many of you have heard of it or seen some of the videos of the impact of drugs on Liberians. And of course, we will discuss President Boakai's trip to the United States, the impact, the return on investment. Why I tried to put up this particular portion. We will go back to this discussion at the very end of our discussion, but I think these are very important part of the conversation that must be held, especially the issue of drugs. If we don't take these things seriously right now, I don't know where Liberia is heading. So I want us to come back here and discuss Kush and zombie. Where are we heading? What can we do as a nation to confront the issue of drugs abuse and how our young people are moving forward when it comes to the drugs abuse, zombie, Kush. Right now, the trending drugs is zombie. I think I have few videos in my possession that if you guys allow me, I will play. If not, let us discuss zombie. President Weah brought Kush, according to them, in quotation, don't quote me, and then President Boakai brought zombie. Let's talk about that, guys. Welcome back, Ben and Tomalin George. I hand it back over to you, Tomalin George.
Can I let me take a stab at the cushion drug?
Lofa, you want us to suspend the PBC?
Yeah. We'll close on that, please, if you don't mind. Why I try to put up the
Okay, so first of all, I think the issue of the drug issue must now transcend this politics thing. There was enough politics played about it during the elections, which I thought was very despicable, because when you play politics with this issue of drugs, it's affecting real human beings, real people. And in fact, there are a lot of despicable things that happened during the election. So, it wasn't a shock. But you have an administration that came into power campaigning on the notion of drug abuse. In fact, like Lofa said, they say, it was said that George Weah brought Kush in the country. So the funny thing, just what you saying, Lofa, when I saw they said this zombie thing, I was like, oh, so does it mean that boycott bringing zombie in the country? It just tells you how. It just tells you it's a new drug. It's a new drug they say that they have found in Liberia that the DA say they have found. But what I'm trying to say is, I go down to the issue of priorities. How much is in the budget for this drug fight? The president made a big show. He took a drug test, which I thought was the dumbest thing anybody has done. I mean, I never believed why he had to take a drug test on TV with his vice president. Nobody accused both Joe Buckeye or Jeremiah Kuhn of being drug addicts. So I never understood what the hell they were doing, right? You want to do, look, I understand there's symbolism in leadership. You want to do symbolism? There's nothing more symbolic than appropriating or identifying resources to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and fight. We're going to go ahead and fight this thing. There's nothing more symbolic than the president leaving the executive mansion. They're probably going to go visit a ghetto. Then talking to these young people to say, listen, I am here. We're here to fix this thing. We're here to fix this thing. But you sit in the executive mansion, you bring a few of your nurses and your doctors and they take, I don't know, I don't know what kind of drug test they took. Did he pee in a cup or did it blood they took? I don't know what they took. They came up, they went outside, went in one room, came back, and now said, oh, Joe Buckeye is drug free. What did it do for the country? What did it do for the country? Look, we got to stop this joke. We got to stop this joke. And everything is politicized because at the end of the day, people use it as an opportunity to be able to score these political points. You talk about zombie, the government will have to put in place, and this is not a political issue. What I expect the government of Liberia should be doing right now is tapping into qualified expert Liberians with expertise that have dealt with this issue. You have a whole diaspora. The president is here. He's here. I saw him sitting now on a panel today talking about. I mean, I was yesterday or whatever the other day he was talking about. But this is what I'm talking about. I want to see the president summon the Liberian human capacity bank, issue a national call of action. The government has allocated $15-20 million to begin this process. Listen, he set up a what is the name? He set up a committee in his State of the Nation address. What have we heard from that committee? What have we heard from that committee? Again, it was all smoke screens. It was all smoke screen. No, these people don't want. Then you get AB and Alpha and Fadiga fighting every day. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. And somebody will come tell me, oh, what does CDC do? Duh, that's what you move CDC for. So I'm just saying, when Joe Buckeye and his government get ready to fight the drug thing in Liberia, we will know. They say, put your money where your mouth is. We see the president's budget. We see where the president's priority. It says, show me a president's priority. Look in that president's budget. There's a man who came and said that drug was a national security issue. The money that in the national budget looked at something of a national security. AB and Fadiga fighting, they're trying to figure out what to do, how to go about to even work together. And they go about doing these raids every single day. Everything is for publicity stunt. They go about these raids, they go in the ghetto, they hand in the children bread. What is it doing? When do we get to where we start to solve problems that will last for generations? Rather than always trying to just do things. Every government official, that's why I say the whole Liberian government is the old time again. Every Liberian government official take to Facebook, oh, today I'm cleaning the street. Oh, today I carry people truck to my place to go clear the separate thing. Oh, today I'm doing this one. Oh, today I'm doing that one. It's a total joke. It's a total joke. So when the government get ready to fight the drug issue in Liberia, we will know. When was the last time you heard the president talk about drug again? When was the last time? Other than the time he went to do his drug test. No more. No more. You want to see us? You want to see countries that you saw in this country? The national government launched a program called DARE. DARE is still alive today. Today's day. I think it was Reagan that launched there. If I stand to be corrected, it's still alive today. Put your money where your mouth is. But you know what? They will ask you, they will say, what a job we are do. So, because the measurement I job we are. So when he do this, so we will not do it, so we do. It's just a mess, man. But that's all I have to say.
Look, I will say this, guys. Again, I repeat, the election is held today. Y'all vote the same way. Y'all will not change the vote. Yes. So now I'm telling you guys, now yourself, the CPP, right? Well, it was a good idea. But mind you, let me say this. Do you all know that all the guys that today, all the guys that you see the UP Alliance, all the guys were part of they all part of the CPP, right? When election ended, when we are won election, they all came together. At that time, Boga in the picture, they are far they're concerned that Boga had retired now. He was done with politics. They all were in the CPP, right? But again, as somebody said earlier, their own personal interest. Yes, they put it forward. Now, we all know how CPP were destroyed. And I would say this, it was a good political strategy for CDC as a ruling party running for re-election to infiltrate and play the game to destroy it too, yes. And CDC was successful. It was good. But the thing about it is that people within the CPP were part of the destruction of the CPP. The people were part of the CPP. The people who not wanted for to see CPP succeed, to see Baka and coming on the same ticket. Never. They said, no way, that's going to happen.
But we're talking about drugs or we're talking about CPP.
So let me. Can I come in on the drugs issue?
By the way, tomorrow's the birthday of one of our most.
Tomalin, now go back.
But I gotta recognize her.
No, we'll get to the recognition part. Let's discuss the drug issue. We got a little bit of time.
All your rescue partners there. We thought that Israel on the show yesterday. Because by the time we're talking that, you change the topic to CPP is dead.
So, it's my understanding that drugs is a non-billable issue. It's my understanding that drugs is a non-billable issue. As part of the seriousness, how our laws can pin down traffickers is also very important. You not even believe some intelligence I'm getting. There was this whole news about some guy, connected to the president of Sierra Leone that was caught with drugs in the country and all of that. In fact, I'm getting information that boy is out of the country already.
Jesus.
Can you imagine? AB went on the air and said to the public that you can be president's son, you can't yet, we will arrest you and blah, blah, blah. In fact, the first time that they raided some people in Clarendon, there was a huge raid in Clarendon. Most of those guys are out already. There is nothing to actually serve as a deterrent. We're always talking about money. That's the problem I have with even the fire service, for example. Even if you had 3 major fire service trucks in the country, let's forget about the money. If you technically position them into different blocks in Monserrato, you will still make impact. Like Ben was talking, you're talking about 50 million. When you take 50 million from the Liberian budget, you technically saying plenty of things will not happen. Because you have a budget that between 50 to 60% alone goes on salary. Over 300 plus million of our national budget is just on salary. You're talking about around 10-15% on goods and services. The one you actually get to do development for the country, it's so tiny. So you don't have the money like that to do a lot. What you need to put in place is the technocrat, the professionals to put them together for people to bring the know-how and to be able to put in system. I see people going from ghetto to ghetto all around the place. And, I think like Ben was saying, or Tomalin was saying, you handling them food, you handling them days, all kind of thing all over the place. We think that these victims are the actual traffickers. No. You're running after the victim and the real people that are pushing the thing in the country. You're not paying attention to them. no surveillance, no tracking, and no intelligence on these people. And when you get them, the drastic action to be taken so that it serves as deterrent. We're not doing that. That is the real situation we got in the place. And people are not, most of the time when you put the people in the sector, the man comes the first 2-3 months, the morale is high, he makes the noise. As soon as you pass 3-4 months, the man start talking to the same cartel. It's serious. And you see, there's something I've been flagging on my page recently about a young entrepreneur and the issue of AB Kroma and Hassan Fadika, where they invited the guy. Now you say you got an intel that the man is a drug trafficker. What do? You start placing your intelligence in place to track him down and catch him right-handed. That is the issue. But you call the man to Royal Hotel to ask him what? To say, "Look, my man, we're hearing that you bringing in drugs in the country, so we call you. We want to find out where you actually bringing in drugs." It doesn't make sense to me. You should be able to track that man. If the man is working at some location, whether you can place people on him to keep surveillance on him, when you grab him immediately. But you say down to Royal. So AB leaves his office. In fact, the man feels that the office is not even attractive for him. How would that man fight drug when the man feel that his office is saying that he's not even attractive? The man says many of the days he says to Royal Hotel and he calling people there to ask them whether they're bringing in drug. What kind of serious man that's supposed to curtail drug will sit down to Royal Hotel and be inviting people and say, "You can't. I want to know whether you bringing drug into You think somebody coming staying for you to say, "Yeah, I bringing drug to Liberia"? So we're talking to the 15 million ban. Even you get straight 2-3 million here. You can place people at various points to keep intelligence on people and track them down. If you really serious for the job. But the problem we have here, people think that the drug thing is a serious money-making thing in the country. And so because of that, as soon people get this job, they start getting into cohort with the real traffickers. How you can be a deputy DEA boss and since you came into the country, you lay full time in hotel? Let's be serious.
Oh, that what the deputy DEA boss.
I'm telling you.
Oh.
Let's be serious. You left food. The same problem we had Ellington, right? Where we said Ellie brought a lot of people to the country. All of them came from abroad. They had no homes here. Some of them were living in Mama Point. They were living in Royal Hotel. That's the same problem we got here. How you come to track serious drugs down and you lay down in a hotel, maybe you pay 100 to 2. Who pays that bill? We got to start investigating you too. You that's all investigator. We got to start investigating. So at the end of the day, you put one lay bread in plastic and you say you carry it to people all in the ghetto. You say you're running them off from the different places they have and all that kind of thing. You know how you could start transforming some of these boys to even start tracking some of these people down? You don't need much. These same boys who are the victim, if you start talking to them, they will start pointing to the people who the real seller, who the real trafficker, they'll tell you. If you're serious, you don't need millions to do that. But the problem we got is people are sitting down to Royal Hotel and inviting the same people there and doing business with them. It must stop.
Tomalin, you know, investigate.
That's the breaking news right there.
We'll check on it.
People sitting at the Royal Hotel to Boulevard Palais, they lead the LDA office. They're not sitting at the NMO. They're calling people. I watched one other show where somebody was pointing at the guy. And they posted a photograph of the LDA boss and a guy sitting together. And they asked the LDA boss, "Do you know this guy?" He said, "Yeah." Say, "But who is this guy?" Because the person was insinuating that guy sitting down by the DEA boss is a trafficker. You know what the DEA boss said about the guy? He said, "No, the man is doing gold and diamond business." I'm telling you.
Wow.
And he said, "Hey man,
you know, to be honest with you,
why hotel we peddling this thing around a few group of people? Oh, it got to be the Nigerians, it got to be the Sierra Leone. But 100 million drugs that came to the country came in a Lebanese container. That 100 million thing you heard under the CDC government that came in a Lebanon. But we leave all these people.
As frozen food, right?
Yeah. We leave all these people we feed it, not the traffickers, but we're focusing on maybe the Nigerian, the Sierra Leone. We say they are the only, but because we interact with them every day.
But look, it's sad. Yeah, go ahead, Professor.
We interact with them every day.
You have to understand, right? The reason why you're seeing those things happen in Liberia is well known that Liberia is a transit point for drugs coming from places like South America going to Europe. People tend to use Liberia because we don't have strong enforcement. We don't have strong a legal system. Our border is porous. Everybody has said it. So when you block one end of the border, the drugs will leak in through another end of the border. People will always use Liberia. And the other thing is, drug is such a profitable business. People will go at extreme means to deal drugs. The issue with the young people that are using drugs in Liberia, if we don't address that issue, you're going to have a whole generation that's just going to go to waste, get stuck. And the more the issue builds up, the more resources you will need to address it. So if you don't put the money now at the front end, the amount of money you need at the back end to get them off drugs will be even more. Otherwise, you'll just end up this situation where it would just exacerbate. Remember one time America said they had a war on drugs? Why did they have a war on drugs? Because the drug issue in America had gotten so bad. You had a lot of famous people, even like Whitney Houston one time when she was saying crack is whack, turned out she was actually using crack at the time. So when people like Ronald Reagan came in, Nancy Reagan, they said, oh, they want to do a war on, they didn't succeed. It became very bad. The countries in Africa that have been kind of successful, right? Like Botswana and Rwanda, they have been very successful. People need to go and see what those countries then have done. We need to go and take a look. Okay, what has Rwanda done to deal with the drug problem? Maybe they're not reporting it, but at least. But in order to do that, you need money. And if you don't put it in the budget, you don't have a way to raise that money, the problem is just going to get worse. So look, the only thing I can say, unless this issue is addressed, and I think it goes back to something that I don't know that Ben or Lofa said it earlier. I think when the president came to the country, he had an opportunity to meet with a lot of the nurses. Somebody, I remember, I think it was Abby Tyler, someone had mentioned that why the president didn't make an effort when you're on the East Coast to come and meet with some of the nurses. There's a large contingent of Liberian nurses in the diaspora that you can connect with who have expertise in this area, but you got to be able to bring them in and be able to look. I'm just telling you right now, that whole thing with drugs, I've seen it happen in so many countries. Those countries went downhill. You see how Mexico is still struggling today with a drug cartel. Look at Colombia, the Medellin cartel, all those guys, they tore those countries down up. So if we allow this thing to get even worse, we don't put the money and resources and the expertise behind it, forget it. Forget it. You think you got a problem right now with unemployment? Unemployed people that are on drugs, they're even more dangerous, man. I'm telling you right now. You can't have people who are unemployed and they high on drugs. Anything could possibly happen. So, but
you see that one of the things we should be serious about too is honestly, what I see happening at the LDA and the DEA, whatever the case, I'm not too impressed, because what I thought the government would have been thinking about doing is investing in rehabilitation centers, because you put people in this institution, you hire, like you said, it requires funding. You hire psychiatrists, you hire
Tomalin, I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you, but I have the DEA 16 director on the phone. He would like to share his side of the story. Do we have time to give him at least to share with Fadiga Hassan?
Okay, so what he wants to share now?
Okay, he wants to share his view on what happened. Go ahead, brother. So
what happened when? What the issue?
At the hotel, the issue that Toga just
the man Fadiga is a deputy director. He can appear on Spoon, he can appear on other platform, he can appear on a closing argument instead of that Twitter phone call.
We can't allow him to do all
so I will respect.
read something and appear
we are bringing forward so that we can engage in that phone call. Yeah, please.
Okay. And to the point somebody was making,
on the platform today.
Let him officially.
Thank you. All right. So Hassan, again, I appreciate you, like you said, out of respect for me, you thought to respond. But again, the panelists are saying, if you prefer to speak to this, address the concerns that you come in and do it publicly to speak to that.
Yeah, the best to do it. I will say on the other place there. So
all right, all right, bro.
Let me say something real quick before
So now let me come. Let me come.
Real quick
on similar subject. So the thing here is this. Take for example, I mean, Fadika would take this whole issue that happened over there, maybe a little personal stuff. But I personally reached out to Fadika. I gave Fadika a list of some people who I got some suspicion about. And some of them, even in diplomatic cycle. He will tell you that. Now, what I told Farika, can you imagine there are some countries you remember, I think you said we talked about that Kosovo thing, all the places. You can imagine how many consulates we got in a small country. People just go, found small tight countries there, and they say the consulate there and just sit down here, they get diplomatic status, and they do a lot of funny things with diplomatic status in this country. And many of them also doing the same trafficking because they are covered. I remember giving him some intelligence on some of these things. I told him places to go, places to put men and get set up. This thing, I think they think here about Liberian people that the history movement and the moral thing. The whole thing about everybody wanting to achieve things quickly in the first 100 days of the president, I think is having a toll on people. Everybody rushing. I was just following a situation, I think, in the UK about some romance scheme or so that the UK government were able to track down, I think, about 11 Nigerians or so on some romance scheme. They took over 2 years to track these people down. With everything done. Why you want to take 1 month, 2 months to get all the drug dealers in Liberia? It's not possible. They're rushing. At the end of the day, you will not do the job properly. Look at Hush Puppy, the guy that was arrested in, I think, the UAE or so. Okay. Who millions went through, for Nigeria doing the COVID and stuff like that. Those people took years to track them down. It's not something that happens overnight. The problem, I think the president got all the guys rushing because of this 100 days deliverable, and everybody wanted to hastily come to show something, so they just wrongly doing all kind of stuff because they want to achieve in 100 days. It's wrong. But at the end of the day, you are going to miss target.
Appointment. Let me say something real quick too, and I want to touch on what somebody was touching on real quick. So look, listen, when you look around the world historically, the drug thing, enforcement by itself has never worked. Enforcement doesn't work by itself. It's a combination of enforcement. It's a combination of rehabilitation. You need so many people that have mental illness. They need psychiatric help, and they also need jobs. They need family to come around them and support them. It's a combination of so many things, right? The enforcement. But you see the problem that a lot of these countries they try to make, they figure, we can just do enforcement, throw everybody in jail. It's not going to happen. You have people that's why you have overcrowding in prisons. You have the problem getting even worse. But I think Tomalin was hitting it when he said it, and I think Lofa, you guys were mentioning it as well. You need all of these things, and none of this thing is going to happen if you don't put the resources in your budget and then bring the technical people to implement. Otherwise, you're wasting your time, just wasting your time. Let me run to my next appointment. I'll be listening to you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
I hope you're going to chime in when we start to talk about the procurement. I want to follow that.
Yes. So just my closing stuff on the job.
Hold on 1 second.
But you know, also
Toga, hold on 1 second. Let Tomalin come in real quick.
The minister of transport of the Republic of Liberia had just confirmed that he will be making his appearance on our show on Friday. Minister Ralph Salif Talon. And then also, let me also announce the acting president is watching the show live. Ambassador Grisby is watching the show live now. So, guys, let's continue the discussion. It's about our country. Let's make it meaningful. We all fear. Let us talk about the issues in the country with all fear or favor. Let us be independent in our thoughts, and let us be very, very forthcoming. We shouldn't compromise the truth. Speak your mind. Nobody can censor you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Tomalin.
Yes. So the thing is, I mean, we can't just always tie it to money. That's my point. I know very well that yes, the LDA and some of these institutions need money, but these institutions can also raise money depending on the job they do. And all the other things we're talking about, rehabilitation and other things, based on some resources you raise, it can also go towards some of these things. If you track down some real traffickers here, you can get millions out of them. But the problem we're having is the fact that some people want to compromise things here. People think that they can just talk to people and they think that how they can solve the drug situation. We have to change the game plan. There are people, I think Professor Kennedy. Yes.
Quickly, let me just, in that point here, I hate to interrupt you here, but let me just disagree with you on a point about fundraiser to support the success of the fight against drugs, because that in itself can actually cause a little bit of chaos or bottleneck. Because if you have to raise your own funds, all right, to fight drugs, you could probably have what we would consider dirty cops. These are some of the things that are concerning. Now, would it be legislatively approved? That means we can have it done legally, where it is legal for you to use certain amount that is probably confiscated from drugs trafficker to help support certain programs, but it would not be managed by the LDEA instead of a specific agency. I will agree with that. But if you say fundraiser, this is where the issue of money comes into play, and people feel like, okay, we can use this to our advantage to be able to raise funds for our individual interests. These things happen all around the United States. Almost every state, to some extent, use some of the funds that are either, confiscated from some of these traffickers, but it is legal to some extent and is managed or monitored by the system. Do we have that system to manage these kind of behaviors? Those are the kind of things we need to look at if we are going to attribute some of these ideals to the fight against drugs.
You've heard, the reason, because I know a lot of people seem to be hiding behind this whole issue of money. The government is challenged. They will not say it, but it's a reality. Bulk of the money, these are not like the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf era, when you have a lot of international support coming to government. When you hear 600 to 700 million budget, it sounds huge in the ordinary man's ear. But in real sense, that money is so small to even run the country. Technically, 50 to 60% of that money alone is just for salaries. It is clear. So you got to find other ways. Every other institution crying for money.
So,
The
gentlemen,
LDA on the other side. The LDA on the other side is crying for money.
Enough with the
Fire
drugs,
service is crying for money.
The procurement
all right.
issue.
So what is available? How do you use the one that you get now to do the job? Because many of them, they sign up for these jobs, Lofa. I mean, this is what you want. You wanted to work in Liberia. You chose this thing here. This is what you say you are going to do. When you saw the budget in it before you chose the job. So we cannot tie the job to take to own the money now, because everybody saw it. You saw what the CDC was using to do the same work. That is my problem. There's nothing brand new yet. You went through these same budgets. You can't come today, like they said, the situation at City Hall. I mean, the City Hall was being run by around 2 million under the CDC. You are requesting 2 times that money to do the job. But you saw that thing before you went to campaign. You saw these constraints before you went to campaign. You can't come out of a sudden now and say, no, it seems to be too much. Too little to do the job. I need more. That is where I'm coming from, Lofa. I'm coming from the point that everybody from the Unity Party government knew the difficulty to running the system. They knew it. And they signed up for it. Now that they have gotten it, there can be no miracle. We're not running $1 billion budget. That is the budget we were running under they were running under the CDC. That's why you came to run. So you should be able to work in a constraint. That is my point.
That's why you what the guy saying? Give her West. You're celebrating divided money.
Huh? So guys, listen. I think we're talking enough on the drug issue. Let's move on the procurement, because we're in the middle of the procurement issue. The act of the Public Works Minister and Lofa interrupted.
But Skebo, you want to do that stuff for a longer time, because you have
no, I didn't say longer time. No, I hope this is now a ploy to keep this out of the public domain. Because Lofa actually intervened, and now the whole
no. I did intervene. I did intervene. That's why I asked you.
We need to talk on this.
You have a salient point. I asked you specifically in the chat room, what segment or session of that did you want us to highlight?
I actually called it short and I put it there.
Then we will go back to that so we can discuss it. You can start to speak to that without us having to read it. Read a segment and I will share it out. Go ahead.
Yeah, but we can't spend long time on that stuff, God.
Right.
No, actually, if Lofa just share this, I will even say, let me hold on for Lofa to share that.
No. Go ahead. Start. Yes. I will share it while you're speaking to it.
My argument is, regardless of what the minister said on the show here, whether the Minister of Justice attested to his contract, yeah, it is the last one that yes, that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One. Regardless of what he said, whether the Minister of Justice attested to the contract and what have you, and I know what the Minister of Justice normally does, which is not really the right approach, is they give credence to the sector here, the sector ministry. So if you are dealing with my ministry of money issue, money agreement, they will ask, because every ministry has a lawyer, right? They will ask a lawyer, the lawyer in that ministry, in that sector, to work with them. Once they're okay with it in terms of the terms of the agreement, the Ministry of Justice basically go ahead and attest to it, right?
Okay.
And somewhere every agreement will put there, all the laws, all applicable laws, or something like that, just to cover themselves, So basically, so there is no way to make this bigger.
Okay, no, you can't. We can't, because that's the reason why I was asking you as to what, that way I would have downloaded and then have it projected so that our audience can read it. But I can read it for us so that you can elaborate based on what you want the people to know. I don't mind doing that. Is that okay with you?
So if that's
So
what
no,
you want,
I can read the whole thing. I can read the whole thing. It's not a big deal.
You know what? I can read it because I have it in Microsoft. I can read it. So if you guys look, just let's make this as for the audience to look at it. In the PBCC Act, I will read quickly. There is a section that deals with sole souls. And normally we say single soul. That's what the public is aware of. But here is what the section says, just to be, I'll read like the 4 conditions basically. They say, and this is like section 55 actually. 1, honor sole souls. Public procurement by means of sole souls. In this case, we say single soul, as just to get the public follow that. Single source procurement method is permitted only in the following circumstances. And these are the circumstances. And that's my argument. A, when only one supplier has the exclusive right to manufacture the goods, carry out the works, and perform the services to be procured, and no suitable alternative is available. In that condition, you can ask for permission. Let me single source this. Let me sole source it, because there's no one supplier. Condition number 2, in this case B, for additional deliveries of goods by the original supplier which are intended either as replacement parts for existing goods, services, or installations, or as the extension of existing goods, services, or installation, where a change of supplier will compel the procuring entity to procure equipment or services not meeting requirements of interchangeability with already existing equipment or services. In what this provision is basically saying, if you already have agreement going on and you need additional thing, and getting new company to bring different, it may pose a problem, you can ask for single source to just continue without one contractor. The third part of this is C. When additional works not included in the initial contract have, through unforeseeable circumstances, become necessary, and the separation of the additional works or services from the initial contract will be difficult for technical or economic reasons. So if you already have something going and you need, maybe the contractor discovers something that was not part of the contract, then the contractor turn to the procurement entity and say, this was not part of the contract. So to go and have a new contractor, it will cause problem. You can ask procurement, you can ask PBCC, can I just use the same company that is already working on the same to continue with this work? That's condition number 3. And D is very critical. I want you guys to listen. D says, in cases of extreme urgency, provided that the circumstances which gave rise to the urgency were neither foreseeable. That means it was not seen in advance by the procuring entity, or, nor the result of dilatory conduct on its part, or when the services require that a particular consultant selected due to his or her unique qualification, or when it is indispensable to continue with the same consultant. Okay, so this is the condition listed in the law. Now you listen to this condition. There is nowhere here. That's why that night I asked the minister, how do you consider the president 100 days delivery? Is it an emergency? The minister said no. So this thing you apply it under those conditions. So what the minister did, he looked at the law, he had no wiggle room. He went to the PBCC and said, I want you to grant me single souls. I want you to grant me sole souls. To choose company of my choice without any competition. I will just select 9 companies that I want, and you must approve for it. He's according to him, PBC said, okay, go ahead. Then he said, oh, Justice Minister, we already got PBC, no objection. So Justice Minister signed attest to this contract.
Kolimo, let me ask you a quick question.
Who signed on that document?
Tomalin, can you hold on for a second? I'm listening to everything you're saying, but I'm still trying to grasp your point of contention.
For me, that's the same thing. I'm trying to see where
I'm really trying to get your point of contention.
Ben, you guys, your mind run to corruption being what? Maybe somebody stealing physical.
No. My question is, what is your point of contention?
My contention is the Power minister did not have the right to go for souls on days.
So who do you blame, him or the PPCC?
All of them. So Julius, look here. Here is the issue. If you are a married man, I'm going to give this example because it's part of
that's fine. That's fine. Totally fine. Right.
What are do you violate your oath? Going out with another woman is a violation of your.
Why gotta use that example?
Married oath. Yeah. Okay.
But why you gotta use that example, Kev?
I'll use that example.
Yeah. All other example you use it. You can't use the mention.
I'll use that example.
Yeah, man. That can't
no. I mean, I want to be practical. I want to be graphic. So if you do
it, it's the last. Some is the last. So what are you talking about?
No. So Tomalin, if a man does that, you can't say, oh, but the woman agreed. But you went there first, knowing that it was wrong, and you went to the woman. Now you want to say the woman agreed. This man you're violating the law. It's a PVCC agreed for me to violate. So he and the PVC are both wrong. That's my argument.
So let me ask a question.
Yes.
Because you and this so
it's the law, Ben.
I have read the law you're talking about.
Yes.
I've read the law you're talking about. I read it. What I'm trying to say here is, did you say the minister said that the 100 days thing is not equated to an emergency? Is that what you said?
Yeah. But Ben, it's not emergency to you.
First of all, okay, so let me say this.
No, in your own opinion.
No, wait. It's not. No, but we're not. It's not a yes or no answer. It's not a yes or no answer. My issue here is, right, the government of Liberia, the president of Liberia, made a policy statement.
Yeah, I'm on a live show. Yeah.
The president of Liberia made a policy statement that in 100 days, no car will get stuck.
Thank you.
He made that statement, which I think I don't know what he was thinking about when he made that statement, by the way. But anyway, there were a lot of things that the president now said that I'm sure he doesn't even intend to do, right?
Right.
My thing is, if the Minister of Public Works, who was appointed by the president to implement his policy, because the Minister of Public Works serves at the pleasure of the president, right? The first policy initiative of this president was make sure no car gets stuck on the road in 100 days. That was the first directive the president of Liberia gave to the Minister of Public Works. In my mind, it's an emergency. 100 days? Let me say. The second thing is, It is allowed under the law. Source is allowed.
Yes.
It is there.
Proviso.
Yeah, but Calvo, it is. If does it state in the law what should be considered an emergency?
Okay, let's read on the
because like you said, like Lofa said, Calvo, the onus is on. That's why you got checks and balances. That's the reason why you have the PPCC. The PPCC should not be so tomorrow. If the Minister of Education wake up and say, "I want order 10 million copybooks," right? And say, "You know what? This is an emergency. We're ready to." And so, it is the PPCC responsibility to do our due diligence to make sure that particular project or whatever they bring into them fits the bill or the criteria or fall within the legal guidelines to warrant sole sourcing. If they did that, right, you can't hold the Minister of Public Works responsible. You know why? Because the Minister of Justice, who is the chief lawyer of the Republic, signed the document.
Yes.
The PPCC.
I bet you disagree, but
my only thing is, listen, we can make the argument about the companies, and I agree with you, because I don't think any company that didn't perform should be giving another.
I'm not even talking about. I don't have any issue.
No, I know. What I'm saying is, on this issue of sole sourcing, I don't think the Minister of Public Works is at fault here. That's my opinion.
Okay, Ben, you know what? I agree that you have that opinion, but you know what? The unfortunate thing is, you read very well, you understand very well. The law is there. You're talking an emergency. In this law, the emergency is defined very clear. They say, in cases of extreme emergency, provided that circumstances, that's a condition, provided that circumstances that is considered emergency, which gave rise to the urgency, were neither foreseeable by the procurement, and that means it was not possible to see it. The question of the 100 days, it was a pronouncement made during the campaign. It was not, so it was foreseeable. But
it was predicated and cognizant on you can't play with the words like that, right? Because even though it was foreseeable, right, in the campaign, it was not guaranteed that Joe Biden was going to be president. Joe Biden only got that authority to make that foreseeable thing happen when he took the oath of office.
Answer my question. When a president of a country, forget about President Biden, when a president of a country say, for the next 100 days, I want to fix a road, does that become emergency?
But listen, it could be deemed an emergency. Guess what? The president can declare that the issue of road is a national security issue.
I see what somebody said earlier on the intellectual class of Liberia. Part of the problem.
All right, you see, all right. So now
you disagree for us to say.
No, for me, you know.
Let me ask you a quick question. Can I ask a scenario?
Let me help you out there. Let me help you out there. Ben also is doing the you got it. But I mean, my point here is, I can understand the fact that the president considered this an emergency issue, because I think, you know, they follow all these social media and the media issues and all of that, and they realized that this is one of the things the public was actually flagging.
Exactly.
That short video recording on the president was spinning wildly.
Exactly.
That in 100 days, no car will get stuck anymore. Everybody started spinning that thing. So it became an issue. The government got under pressure and they wanted to deliver on it.
So you see. So emergency out of politics.
They had to make that an emergency. But the thing here is this. My problem here is this. I mean, you pick 9 companies. You cannot give no objection to 9 companies. You have just, swept other companies under the rug, like they're useless in the country, and they should not participate in any competitive bidding process. That is my problem.
Toga,
That
that for
one is
me,
not even the issue.
for me, Toga, for me, that is a legitimate. That is a legitimate. What process? How were those companies picked?
There you go.
That's the conversation.
That's the conversation.
That's
Let's
my
go
issue.
through that.
Here's my
Get big or not,
Under the law,
and you just close. You know,
under the law, let me tell you guys, under the law, when you go to so-so, the conditionalities are here.
Yeah.
When PVCC gave you that right to go so-so, even though there is a provision here how you go about it, if you go follow down in the law, which we didn't have time to read all of that, there is a provision how you go about it. Basic procedure for so-so procurement. There is a provision on that, but it's more or less subjective to a large extent, right? So if you have like 100 companies in the country, and you want to just pick 5, right? So you go and say, look, give me right, I want to just choose 5.
Okay,
right?
so you're saying that? So you're saying he didn't break the law on our part? Then picking the 9 companies, you're saying he didn't break the law?
Because I can't. You know what? I can't even definitively say that, because you know what? When you're doing that, you lay out in your application, you lay out the procedure you're going to go through. You and I have not read the procedure he went through, whether it met the condition of the law. What I'm saying is the condition for you to apply for single source or so
not met. That's your
that
argument.
condition was not met. That's my argument.
Okay.
Look, in fact, if you look in the PFN law, that night the minister said he used the budget was staying in a draft form then. So when they approve, go read the PFN law. When you approve of the 112 rule in the PFN law, it's intended not to shut down government. It's not intended to get mega contract. It's intended to pay salaries, lubricants, gasoline to get the president car running, or other functional government working, right? Like maybe JFK will shut down if there is no gasoline or diesel to run that generator. That's what the 112 rule is meant for. It's not meant to go and say, okay, under 112 rule now, I'm going to go give $22 million contract. No, because the budget was staying in a draft form.
But let me say this. Let me say this though. Let's be honest. Don't forget, the minister was a former deputy minister at that ministry. I come here at that ministry.
A record too when you
Hold on one second. Let's land.
So he understands how the process works. Number one. Number two, the president, he was his boss, issued a mandate that he said this will happen. So in order for him to make sure that the president mandate was implemented, he went to the PPC, right? If PPC wanted to be, if I can wiggle my way to get my job accomplished, you think a PPC who's going to regulate or put me in check, they don't do it? What you blame for that? I want to carry on the mandate, make sure the president's mandate was carried out, and that's what he did. And imagine now, he's not alone. I told you earlier, I said you have other signatories in the government who are part of that document. Okay, and I repeat, you had a justice minister who attested to that document that a contract should be awarded as you continue with this contract. So you blame the guy for that?
You know which point the justice minister attests to it. After you go to the justice minister and say, I met all other requirements, right?
It will raise the issue.
Right? So the minister is not in the procurement process. But Tomalin, I will say this, and I will say to all of you guys.
Let me end this though. Once a single source, everything will have a discussion on the public minister now. Once that's what happened.
So that's what I'm not dealing with.
Tomalin, can I just chime in here real quick? And the reason why I asked about Kolibo's point of contention is because I wanted to have this clarity, right? He's trying to blame the public works minister's action on him solely, and not that of those who are supposed to approve the action. All right, but here's let me land. This card you see in my hands right here, it has a credit limit of almost $75,000. State's issue with my name on it to purchase equipment for any of my techs in the field, or when I'm in the field if needed. Okay, guess what happens? When it is an emergency, every purchase that is made, it must be approved through the procurement department, right? If I had an emergency and I needed to purchase something right away, I ran to Walmart, something that had to do with any of our sites, and I needed to do replacement, even if it was up to $10,000. They approve it. Guess what? It was approved. I have nothing to do with that. All I need to do is at the end of the month, submit my receipt.
It'll be subject to review.
Thank you. I submit my receipt. They already, I have the card. I'm supposed to use it. My text on the field. They need to get the job done. I purchase. If it is approved, I'm done. I have nothing to do with it. They actually justify why it was approved. If they deny it, then it is upon me, Lofa, to say, look, I need to get this job done. I'm on the field. All my texts are out there. They need to get it done. That's why we're purchasing. And that's why I'm saying, in his defense, they did not do their job, so we cannot hold him solely accountable for the problem.
We'll continue that discussion. We'll continue that discussion, guys. I want to recognize.
I want to close.
Yeah, okay.
I want to make.
Yeah, let me close on it.
I know. Let me close. Let me make my closing statement on this. One, I will say this. The law here is very clear on how emergency is defined. We are not clear.
But it's not clear who declares the emergency, though.
Oh no, Ben, it's very clear. They say,
okay.
They say if the emergency, the circumstances that giving rise to that emergency, if it were not foreseeable.
So you don't think they are getting stuck in the market is a national emergency?
No, because I can't be stuck in more for.
But it doesn't mean that it's not an emergency.
No,
because it's been happening. It means that it's not an emergency.
No. So we cannot change the meaning of the law to say because Ben Sanvee is a president today, and Ben Sanvee say I want car to be speeding 75 miles per hour from here to RIA. So the only way maybe we need to build 4-lane road. So let the private one go build 4. Then because no, we can't say that. We can't change the law on that. The law is the law. That's my argument here. Second, I'm coming. I have not argued that PPCC is exonerated yet. In fact, if you remember that night, I argue that PPCC, that's how Tomalin said we're going to bring the PPCC boss, right? I argue that PPCC did not follow the law. In fact, after the show, Tomalin admitted to me that someone spoke with him and said PPCC boss did not follow the law. And let us not pretend on this.
Okay,
look, you see, Kev was up today. What is it?
Two persons can be wrong. You can't say one person can be wrong.
No, there's no
on the show.
But I think
one of the off today.
Mr. Complo, one of the popular, I think or somebody said
they're PF tonight, right?
I'll practice it. We can't even do not go beyond.
Kev off tonight, but because of a special birthday or celebrant that he appeared, he's off tonight. Yeah, Lofa, I'll put a picture up. One of we call her the real rescue sister. That's a real. That's not a fake rescue. The real rescue sister.
Is he alive?
Is your friend a rescue fit?
Well, Tomalin got a rescue minister. Or
no, I'm gonna rescue minister. I'm not a minister. Tomorrow's her birthday, and she one of them. I mean, she's an ardent follower of this show, supporter of this show, making sure tomorrow is Sis Kadi Coleman Port's birthday. She's the owner and proprietress of the Kadi's restaurant opposite SKD complex. We want to wish her happy birthday, and all the guys want to say something. We'll start with Kev. Yes.
She's from Philadelphia.
Yes.
Oh, you know her?
Yeah. I know her husband.
Okay. Mr. Pope. Very good. So we'll give Kev. We'll like Kev to say something about this cat. Kev say something, and we'll go around the table, Kev. So, Kev, have the floor.
Totally something. Hey,
I keep the picture up,
man.
Hold on.
I'll keep the picture up.
Guys, hold on. I will bring the picture on. Keep talking. I'm trying to enlarge it a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, let me say happy birthday to Kadi. She's a strong woman, somebody that gets your back. I know that. We know that. She always get our back. One of the best restaurants in Liberia. Normally I don't eat places, but first place. You see what, Ben?
You've been to that restaurant? Oh, I forgot you went to Liberia.
Oh man, you're too young to be to be thinking like JMBO. Because JMB can forget. Best restaurant. I remember she always get my and buckwheat. Yeah, ready all that stuff. So,
When you finish eating
Kadi,
the burger with there, you go drink Blue Moon.
Kadi, I wish you many, many more years. You stay young, so I wish you many, many more years to come. So I will celebrate. Looking forward to see you soon.
Dr. Peabody, go ahead, buddy.
Look, man, I had to run. I had an emergency, and that's why I could not send a message to my dear sister, Kadi. But I want to tell Kadi how much we appreciate her, how much we love her. You are such a darling. You're a wonderful, wonderful woman. Thank you so much for being that people's person where everybody comes to you and you don't frown up, you don't get mad, but you have a way of just accepting them. And you want to go the extra mile, Kadi, and the guys on the closing argument want to appreciate you. The restaurant, we go there and you want to make sure we get the best food and everything. One of the best restaurant at Kadi's restaurant at the San Mercado Complex of Kadi. We just want to let you know we love you. As you celebrate another year, my prayer is that you will have another 100 years added to that, But Kadi, we love you. You're a wonderful person. Thank you for always being there and taking our call. Even when you having a meeting, you busy, you are ready to take the call, Kadi. Look, man, we love you, Kadi. And to Mr. Port, and you got a darling, man. I hope you guys enjoy your birthday. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The chairman.
Yeah. Let's say happy birthday to I call her sis Kadi the General. Happy birthday to her. Listen, I've been seeing the best dry rice in the country. If you are in Liberia, make your way to the SKD Sports Complex. It's Kadi's restaurant. Everything is there. Not one of the best dry rice. I just focus on the dry rice because the dry rice are my favorite. I love dry rice. But everything they make over there is amazing. But Kadi is a big sister. She's someone who has a big heart, love her country. She the politics thing, sometimes she can add a politician, but she's not a politician because she quit to get first. I can tell all the time. But you can't get first quick when you're a politician, right? But she is someone who we all deeply care for. She has been a strong source of strength, and even from a personal standpoint, when you reach out to her to talk to her, she's always there, willing to listen, and she is a big sister. So we want to say happy birthday to you, Sis Kadi, to you as you clock another year and continue to get younger. Please don't give our big brother Yanson Port hard time. I mean, I think about him all the time because I can tell him, I said, my man, he's I said, my man, yeah, you got a general. He said, you bought that. Now I gotta be right. But we just want to say happy birthday to you, Sis Kadi, and we love you and thank you for everything that you continue to do for our country and for the thousands and thousands of people who you have helped and continue to help. She is one of those unsung heroes in the country, people who, providing food for people, feeding people, but you never see it on Facebook. You never hear her publicizing it. She runs a major organization. It's a Liberian Women Network. They speak on women issues in the country. She's somebody who supports a worthy causes. So we just want to highlight you, Sis Kadi, on your birthday and say thank you for all that you do.
Yes, Lofa, you want to say something? Maybe you haven't met her before, but you meet her one day.
Yeah, don't worry. She can ask for you, Lofa.
Yeah,
so we can be speaking serious.
She watches the show every day. Yeah, she and her husband, her family. So maybe you want to say something more her birthday, but we will not be here tomorrow. So that's what we want to celebrate her right now.
No, most definitely. Birthdays comes once and probably once in a year. And if you're opportune, you probably leave another one. But I want to use this opportunity. I'm hearing a lot of good things about you. Like Tomalin said, Ben, I have not had the opportunity to meet you, but I'm pretty sure when I meet you, you will be able to make my tteokbokki. So I'm not worried about that part. So As long as you can guarantee me, I'll eat my turkey. No, matter of fact, I will fight like Keff Hassan to make sure that we announce your birthday, even when it's not your birthday, every time. But I want to say, happy birthday to you, and thank you for everything that you do for Liberia and everybody else. I hope you and your family celebrate your birthday in a grand style. Continue to do what you do, and I see people, you're commenting. These are some of the reasons why we recognize people on this platform. Your contribution to society and the humanitarian aspects of what you're involved with. We acknowledge these things not because we feel like we are in close connection with these people, but we encourage everyone else to contribute immensely to the growth and success of Liberia. And thus far, what I'm hearing is she's heavily involved in that part of it. So I cannot say anything more than I'm grateful to you. I'm thankful for you being a part of the growth and success of Liberia. Continue to do what you're doing, and may God bless you and your family. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you. I wish I could sing. Unfortunately, I can't sing the Ben Sanvee or Keff Hassan. So I'll just hold my singing to myself and I'll sing in the background. Happy birthday.
Toga.
Yeah, let me wish Kari happy birthday. I think Tomalin and myself spoke about her once. And I went there before. I ate my bitter leaf on one or two occasions. I went there with Ambassador Rufa Nouvel. So at some point during the real heat of the election, we stopped at the restaurant on several occasions and we interacted with her. She wouldn't know me that much, but I think she knows Ambassador Nouvel very well. And so we went there on many occasions to have some interaction with her. We would like to wish you happy birthday, Kari, says Kari, and I know the future is bright. Best of luck out there. Thank you.
For Kev what Kev for it tonight, for Kev to leave his comfort zone to come tonight, I know is somebody important. Because Kev wouldn't have come. Because Kev is on a different mission tonight, but he had to come, crawl for his comfort zone to come, and that's why we said, look, Sister Kari, want to say again, we love you, we appreciate you, wish you the best, enjoy your birthday tomorrow. This woman, she blessed with three beautiful girls, daughters. She have all daughters. She's blessed. Her husband's the former basketball player for Lone Star and Barrow, Nyansom Port. So they all live in Pennsylvania here. They are very nice people. It's good to meet them, and he's a very quiet man. But Sis Kari is, once you see her, you get to know her. She's lighting the place up and make you feel comfortable. If you have any catering needs in Liberia, any big catering business, call her. She will be there for you. Yeah, so that's Sis Kari. Kari, come on, put happy birthday and enjoy your birthday tomorrow. Stay blessed, and may God bless you. Wish you the best.
And one of the things we need to say, a lot of one of the most important news media in the entire country. She's the brain behind it that everybody know about. She's the brain behind it. So I just want to throw that out.
Okay, so tomorrow is Kari's day. So we won't be here tomorrow. We don't want to say thank you for guys for all the kind words to her, and we bless her. God bless her. So guys, let's end it. I'm getting call from the former president.
Well, guys, let's kind of close up on this part of it. Let's close the argument for tonight.
Yes,
Let's start with Toga because he's in Liberia. Let's start with him, and then we'll go around the room.
Yes. So I know this is a developing issue, and it has got to do with the whole training issue with the LTA. The LTA is still a topical area for discussion. There is an upcoming issue on the newly, appointed chairperson, Mr. Abdullah Kamara. There are reports that he was also in business with the outgoing chairperson of the LTA. And there was a bank account open, the Liberia Digital Transformation Project account at GT Bank, where millions were put into that account.
Wow.
There are 3 persons connected to this entire syndicate, and Mr. Abdullah Kamara, Madam Ewina Zapa, and Wisse Blamo. the last chief of staff to the president. In fact, there's a letter that reportedly came from Mr. Wisse Blamo to the LTA. People in the LTA have confirmed that that letter came that gave the woman an exclusive right to open an account with GT Pen where she took money from the LTA's account and put it into those accounts. And she and Mr. Atula Kamara were doing business together on a Hitama group. And he's today heading the institution. He's the acting chairperson that Ambassador Boaka just named. My issue with this matter is there is no way possible that you will suspend other people because they are ongoing audit, or you subjecting them to an audit, so you suspend them. But you're not using similar yardstick for a man who will also be subjected to the same audit, because there is no way that you'll be auditing the LTA and not audit the man that did business with the same LTA over the years, who is now the chairperson. So thank God, Tomalin, you say, I think the chief of staff is watching. I hope he can pick that issue up. It's my understanding that he's at least in the know of this matter at the moment. I hope they can investigate this matter, because there is no way the acting chairperson of the LTA will be doing business with the outgoing chairperson of the LTA, and there is an audit and you suspend other people and you keep in there. He's also going to be going to the GSC for the same audit investigation. So if we are using one yardstick, we can't be using it for one group of people and we're ignoring it. I don't know why the Boaka administration will be running after maybe certain people from 10 portfolios, for irregularities or for audit or whatever. But then other people in those same system that will also be subjected to the audit, we ignoring this. Okay, so cherry picking these kind of issues, that way I got a problem with. If you want to fight corruption, let's do it holistically. Whether it are your own people into the corruption issue, go after them. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
As it gets further and we get more documentation on the matter, I will share it with the closing argument so that we can raise this issue to a higher level.
We'll do a follow up on that story. I will follow up on the I will especially that with the Abdullah Kamara guy. I will try my best to hopefully we can to see what I can get to him too, because it's important. Yes, Kerabo. It's a Gonglo.
Mr. Gonglo is sleeping.
He's talking, but he's muted. Mr. Gonglo, you're muted.
All right, so guys, this has been a very interesting.
I mean, you should make Kerabo last, my man, so it can go. Because Kerabo will take 10 minutes, my man.
Yeah, I will take 10 minutes.
Yeah, my man, can you be last?
Let me go. So listen, hear what I was saying. Now I'm going to repeat myself on this issue. We are fighting for the good of Liberia. And that's what all of us have been doing for years. And I will still maintain that we as Liberians, we have an obligation to uphold and hold the feet of our public officials to follow our laws. The argument that if two persons have a role to play and one person gave in, the other person must have an excuse that, oh, the person asked me to go kill the person because he has that authority, so I'm exempted. Both of them are equally guilty and culpable before the law. And that remains my argument. And I think the Power White minister proceeded wrongly. He knew he did not meet the condition. He went to PPCC. We don't know the nature of the conversation that took place between he and the PPCC. We were never privy to that. But we are privy to the law, the conditions under which you can apply for so-so or single-so. That condition, under the circumstance as pronounced by the Power Minister, it did not meet that. I maintain that. And I think that good opinion within the procurement cycle in Liberia, procurement professionals who agree with me. Because those who started procurement understand what I'm talking about. They did not meet that condition, and I think he went and asked, you are asking the person to do the wrong thing, and the person agreed with him for both of them to do the wrong thing. And both of them are equally wrong. And what they engaged in, they corrupted the process. The public procurement process, they engaged in an act of corruption. Not necessarily stealing money, but what they engaged in is an act of corruption. I maintain that.
So yeah, and we want to get to the PPCC boss. I know Scott Johnson. We want to get to him to find out why he allowed that to happen. Also, Justice Minister, why he put his signature on that document if it wasn't right. We want to get to them. So please let us. We're not let us go. Let us follow. Let us follow up on it so we can come back to the library people and tell them, well, maybe we can provide more understanding to Liberian people instead of just letting it just slide. You make a good point. And I respect you because you come to the PPCC law. Somebody who I know is well versed in there. You work. I mean, you have a lot of understanding about it. So that's why I won't argue with your position on that issue. Yes, Kev.
So, Kev, I was very short. Though.
Yeah, you
Less
were
than 2
short.
minutes.
Well, I'll listen to the show. You guys have a good show, but let's make it clear that the reason why the JMB government will keep Abdullah because uh, where Abdullah was getting from LTA, he was actually furnishing and financing the Unity Party, and that's why they will not. They went against a winner because they didn't get that from there, and they got it from Abdullah. So they want to keep him there. It's all about money. So we all know what Abdullah was doing. So he was actually furnishing and financing the Unity Party, and the truth will come out, and that's the truth about it. So we know that. So, but and hey guys, when it come to the public works minister, we all saw it, $22 million for Dusty Road. Those guys and they got A in criminality. They know exactly what they're doing. So and we talk about I think you guys saying the minister of states he's too watching. He got to explain how come they were not in power and they took the people's social security money. Imagine your grandpa. You understand? Imagine, Julius, your grandpa, your family who collecting their social security money. If this government continue what they're doing, there will be no social security money for people who collecting the social security money. You took that money before your first day in office, over 100,000, and buy 5 cars in the name. Oh, we're having people for inauguration, so we need cars. Oh man,
I'm
well
hearing around 500,000. You say 100?
sorry about that. I think I was helping them, but I remember when we went 2002 with our former network. We all had a big SUV that you can rent. They're there. Lofa, you go to the SUV there, you can rent. But we went back and last year, we got cars. Cars are in the country to rent. Beautiful cars, my man. If you see some of the SUV they renting there, you say, "Wow, beautiful cars." But he took that money from the pure social security money. You see, when they talk about NASCAR, people need to understand that the amount of money that they work for, that they retire, this government took it. This minister of state took that money and used that money to buy 5 cars. And those cars, guess what the cars are? They share each other. They share the cars.
So,
To
Kev,
family members, they
5
share the
minutes.
cars. So if this government continue, like I say, let me close with this. There's a there's a two crime that came on the Liberian people that actually uh uh the Liberian people are facing today. The first one is the war, and the second one is the presidency of Jose Iman Bokai. That is two greatest crime upon the people of Liberia. The two greatest crime that will mix with misinformation. The war that will misinformation. The war came to Liberia based on misinformation, lies. And now JMB presidency is based on lies. That is the two greatest crime on the people of Liberia. It's a crime. How can you come and take the people's social security money, come in the name of we want rescue you. Then you come back. Look at the latest thing they did today, Lofa. I don't know if you guys flag it. Kosovo. You met Kosovo president. And then when folks say, oh no, Kosovo too trying. It's not business country they're trying. You say, oh no, we're trying to get seats at the UN and security, whatever. And guess what they say? They need Kosovo help. They need them. They need the membership. They need them to support them. And guess what? Kosovo is not even a member of UN country. They're not even there. But you took picture and put on the mansion, telling the world that you need Kosovo help in the UN, and Kosovo not there. So it's the greatest crime upon the people of Liberia. So that two great crime: the war and the Jose Iman Buckeye presidency. And mark my word, it's the worst thing that would ever happen in Liberia. The war and Buckeye presidency. I rest.
Lofa.
Tomalin, again, let me just say it was a great show, wonderful contributions. I think we hit a variety of things, but I want to close on this note. And this is very serious. I was laughing because, the way Kev presented his point. I mean, yeah, it was a little bit funny, but let us be serious about what is happening to Liberia. You cannot prosecute a man for doing certain things based on a specific rubric or what we would say recipe, and then you use the same recipe and expect to be celebrated. What I'm speaking to is the act of the UP and her establishment, the level of deception, the level of hypocrisy, and due to the gullible society to some extent that we find ourselves in, it appears as though those who even claim to be the educated ones are even more gullible than you can imagine. Yesteryears, we frowned at President Weah for traveling with huge entourage. Today, President Weah play out of, President Boykai play out of President Weah's playbook, but intelligently cover the amount of people who are coming to these various events by not including their names on the list of participants. Yet and still, he brought them along, an act of deception that could be considered corruption to the fullest. You would think an elderly man in the minds of Honorable Boykai, President Boykai, will think in the right direction as to how can we fight corruption and make sure that we limit our spending. He brought so many people whose names are not on the list that they published, and we are supposed to sit and celebrate these kind of behaviors. Honorable Boykai promised Liberians in 100 days there will be no vehicle stuck on major highways. After the 100 days, they came back to defend this and provide excuses. You are supposed to be the rescue train, not the excuse train that we are experiencing today. In 100 days, they baffle, they struggle with putting people into positions for the self-proclaimed educated and experienced people to struggle this much. It is mind-boggling. It is embarrassing. And it's to some extent what I would consider at the very top of deception. To some extent, one would actually consider this a form of thievery. They're stealing broad daylight in front of the people. They told Liberians that the issue of drugs was on the President Weah, the Weah-led government. Today, we have zombie. And if you were to compare the definition of kuch to that of zombie, I think Honorable Boyka and his entourage brought far worse problem on the country than what we experienced during President Weah's term. It is embarrassing that those who claim to have been millionaires and multimillionaires in the United States went crawling on their knees, begging for jobs in Liberia because they could not sustain themselves to some extent. And here they are. We are back to where we started. They are not showing or exhibiting any real example of what the people believe and what the people expected. It is shameful to see that today Honorable Boyka is in the United States. What we found at President Weah for photo ups. He took photos with everybody else, every president, but we did not experience the return on our investment. That is the trip out of the country. Today, Honorable Boyka, President Boyka is exhibiting the same behavior. He brought hundreds of people out of the country. And I'll elaborate on this because I think it's only fair that Liberians understand these things. It's not fair to Liberians that you will be deceptive to the core. You brought all your colleagues with you to the States. What do we get in return are the things that I'm more concerned about. What do we get as a nation? Upon your return, we want to know what did we actually achieve, okay, at your various meetings and all of the different interactions you had. When you get to Liberia, Liberian wants something in return. The fact that your public work minister couldn't even speak to issue based on numeric value. He could not quantify or quantify the work that is being done. I am concerned. I am heavily concerned about what is happening in Liberia. It is embarrassing that those who criticize the CDC government, those who call President Weah inept, those who call President Weah uneducated are today playing from the book of the uneducated and inept president. It is embarrassing. It is shameful. What that tells me is those self-proclaimed educated people were only pretending, and the pretense have literally been revealed to the public that they are worse than those who they claim were incompetent, uneducated, and the worst of all. Thank you.
Okay. Just before I end my closing, if you want to know more about this, you can go to eatatcaddies.com. You can click on it and you'll learn more about the restaurant and more in America and Liberia. Eatatcaddies.com. Eatatcaddies.com. Click on it and you'll know when in Liberia, you're visiting Liberia, it's easy. You'll learn more about this place. Eatatcaddies.com. Click on it and you can learn more. On my closing is that, look, I've been saying it. We've been saying it. There's nothing changing in the country. It's still the same. Things are not going to change. Not changed. The same business as usual. And we have an obligation to the country to speak our mind, to speak out. We should not compromise the truth. Say even if you're friends with people in the government, you got to say clearly. If you don't do it, then you are not doing fair to the country. Let's be honest and say to each other, especially those on the rescue who was on the rescue train. Now, we know I will come to my friend Delon today. He had a podcast. He used to have podcast every time and talk about issues, but now they're all gone silent. They're all silent what's happening. I mean, I'm happy that Amara Connors in the corner is speaking out. He's speaking out. They all put the rescue team to power, but he's speaking out now. My friend John Malou, I've been having exchanges, but back and forth, he's frustrated too. All of them, they are frustrated right now. What's going on? Even my friend Stanton, who was frustrated. Stanton, Stanton played an important role. His network played an important role in bringing rescue to power. But today, I don't think Stanton he's not happy with them. We all know it. He's not happy with them, and people are getting discouraged. And it's too early, too soon, But again, and that's why most of them are afraid to come here. Those who come here, I respect them. You come and engage the people. That's why I was just talking to the press secretary with the president, traveling with the president, and she hopefully she will make her appearance here now. She assured me that she'll make her appearance here. So Madam Fofana will be coming here soon. Maybe she's watching in the States with the president. So we bring them forward. They will come forward. We are respectful. We're not going to disrespect nobody. As I showed them, we won't be disrespectful. We'll be civil. And we just discuss the cultural issues, Already the Minister of Commerce, Abi Moda, been here. Public Minister Guinness, been here. The Minister of Transport, Ralph Salitala, he's on his way to the platform too. So the information minister, Jerry Limick, Matthew P. has also expressed that he'll be coming soon. So let us, our platform is open, you know. Especially the DEA, that's an issue that in the news. I'm surprised at the Justice Minister. I'll reach out to him tomorrow. What's happening at DEA? It falls on your supervision. And there was issue at the DEA with that guy who accused of bringing to the hotel and humiliating him. What's the outcome of it? Want to know what happening? What's happening? What happened to that investigation? We can't leave it like that. So our platform is open. We invite people to come here, and the guys that are all intelligent folks. They will not disrespect you. They will ask you the questions. If you're uncomfortable with the question, yeah, you can choose not to answer. But we're not going to come and start insulting. Or no, we don't do it yet. But we just want to talk with Liberian issue. It's serious, guys. And until we can continue to make this kind of a intervention, our country will continue to be where it is today. Because it's sad though that we have fighting now. Our friends who was on the rescue team, most of them now they are put up folks in government. They put the people in certain position. Now they're all back, they're all sitting there quietly. They're not talking no more. It's quiet now. When they call you on the telephone, they want to talk to you. I said, no, we're not talking on the telephone. You want to come? Let's come on the show and talk. Because we'll not do that. You know, I see you go, and even now they're getting afraid to even go on spoon because Standard have taken a different approach on there now. He's engaging them. So right now it's like, oh, so it's like what the song said. There's no high in place, right? What the song? Yeah, you run to the person. There's nowhere, and so now they all find it uncomfortable now that they can't find no rescue somewhere. They can rescue the country, but they're looking for rescue now because when they go they thought they would have it easy with spoon, but no. When they go to see they miss them and they move from there, they come here on telephone. I said, no, gentlemen, or lady, let's come here. You know, let's come here talk. And honest with you, people who are personal friends of ours who was in it to their throat. They will call you and confess it now and say, look, it's not how things we expected, but that's how it is. So, guys, let us continue to put our countries first. But again, visit eat@kadis.com. Visit it. That's her hamster husband there, Nyason Cake Port. That's it on the platform there. Eat@kadis.com. Check it out. Click on it and you'll learn more about Kadis restaurant and more about her business and so forth. She's a great human being, and I'd love for you to meet her. Guys, again, we call it a day. Anybody else say?
Yeah, Tommy, they talk about the SKD complex.
Yeah,
you get into SKD complex, it's right there.
Yeah, two guys is a seasoned Liberian journalist. How you all know he's on the grind in Liberia. He's been doing a lot of work in Liberia in journalism. He's not one of those guys who you can easily come and just he speaks his mind. You know, you will not like him when you get ready to take on an issue. Right now he's behind the LTA issue. I can tell you. He will not rest until we get the whole story of what happened in LTA. It will come down. Abdullah Kamara, you're in trouble. The guy on the books now. I don't know how you manage, but beware. Guys,
no, it was a good show.
Yes,
thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you guys have a good night. I mean, it was wonderful. Please, by the way, guys,
even Tomalin, if we even need a guy, the guy who was victimized at the hotel, I can reach out to him. The day we want to host him, he will be ready to talk.
That'll be great. That'll be a great show. By the way,
they reached out to me too, but then I was like, you know, when I reached out to me, then I saw him on Spoon. He explained it. I said, but then he already explained it.
Yeah, you already explained this part, right?
You still want
right?
I mean, if you already explained it, then
anytime.
Yeah.
All right.
And so forth, you know, and I want to agree. Also, you guys tell all your hi. You guys say he's okay. You want to say hi to all of y'all.
Tell you, say hi. When he coming back to?
And then
he likes it small to get back.
But guys,
right, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
But then people go look. I can tell you guys, the 2029 election coming so early. The people that it will be. But I want to pray for Liberians that, like, look, we should not. For me, you shouldn't make the options too many, you know. But again. But
somebody about to start a new show here because you started go into it.
They will tell you tomorrow where we'll be on one side. Hey, look, right now we into 2024, right? The UP government got 2 years, 2024, 25, 26. Yeah, by the end of 26, things are changing. Things are changing. 2026 because right now the guys that you see the Mo Ali, the Amos Square. Luther Tappe, all the guys, the DeLong, everybody, they're moving around, everybody enjoying themselves right now. But guess what? count 2026, it will start having a problem, and then it will start breaking apart. It was our issue. And then 2027 now, the politics will start. But we just hope they keep it. People will be wise this time around and not break apart, hold together, and form a strong unit so that they can decide to rescue the country, finally rescue the country.
Yeah, and then somebody inboxed me and said, Lofa, you guys have to be consistent with the time. Guys, we apologize. We are all working people over here. Everybody out here work.
I'm sorry.
It's difficult to be here, but we will do the best we can. Even if we are on the radio in Liberia or not, we will try to be consistent with the time as much as possible to be on here to make sure that the program is aired, whether via the social media or it is aired on the radios in Liberia. We will do the best we can. Again, this is not a commitment. This is not a promise, but we will do the best we can because we are humans and we have our family to take care of. We are not dependent on any other source of income, but your support, your regular $2 or $3 to the Cash App, the Zelle, to help us maintain the platform. Other than that, I mean, individually, we are not taking anything home from this platform, but our sincere commitment and volunteer are there to make sure that the message is, just transparent across the board. But we will do the best we can. Whether we are on the radio in Liberia, we will come on here, and if we are just on here to discuss the issue, we will try to do the best we can to be consistent with the time so that you all can do due diligence and share the show. Be a part of the conversation. We really appreciate you guys.
Hello, let me clear about something. I see Aisha Pai. Aisha, there's some misinformation. No food is sold for $9 at Kadi's restaurant. Stop it. $19. Please stop it. Yeah. You click on.
I own a $4.9 so.
It will tell you everything about the restaurant.
I think the highest should be $10.
It's selling rest at $49, and that's not true. That's not true. $19
should be $10 or so.
$19. $19. But if you click on it, you get a whole.
But Tomalin though.
Yeah.
$19. How many people in Liberia can afford $19?
Oh, you see, my man. People that are working.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Quality,
oh wow!
The quality of food.
Toga, I don't expect you to not be you can afford $25.
No, I mean that Tomalin saying, bulk of the key ministers and actors in the country go to that restaurant.
Oh, okay, that because of the quality of food, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Construction workers there. The people that are working, the construction people that are working on the building that thing, they go there. In fact, the order food, the cater to the people that order the food and so forth. Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good.
But that information is there about the food is sold for $9. That's not true. That's
not true. Okay, that's not.
That's it. About 1 a.m. I got
okay,
go.
Man. Toga, I'll be in Liberia soon. We'll hook up.
All right, Chief.
I can announce the day before the guy tackle me. Big year.
Toga, host me. Toga, I just want you to host me in Buchanan. That's why I want to go.
I visited Buchanan this around.
That's where I want. That's where I'm going.
I come in there.
All right.
All right, guys.
Okay, guys. Thanks. Well, look, you got NO.
All right. No, I got to get Kev back on here. Let me see if I can get Kev back on. But yeah, we're good.
Yeah, you get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got it. All right, man. Let me see if I can get Tomalin. All right, guys. It was a great conversation tonight, folks. We want to thank all of you for being a part of today's closing argument. However, you may have contributed to the conversation. We still appreciate your contribution. And look to see you being a part of our discussion again. Hopefully on Friday, we will be back. If I'm not here, the crew will be back here discussing Mama Liberia. Thank you all for being with us. We say you all have yourselves a wonderful night. Let's see if we can get this thing here and this entire thing right now. Yeah, Chelsea is asking. She said we were not on the radio today. Unfortunately, we were not on the radio today. Yeah, Ben, go ahead and end this thing here from the back, bro. I think something is going on from my end here. So, all right, peace, guys. Breakable Power say he won't call you. Nobody call me. We done.